Welcome, football fans, to week 2 of Henley Hornets football. The Hornets are on the road again this week to take on the 5A Crater Comets. Good evening, everybody. I'm Josh Eldridge. Along with me is Kevin Petrick, and we are coming to you live tonight from Dutch Meyer Stadium on the campus of Crater High School for tonight's matchup between the Henley Hornets and the Crater Comets. Each team is coming into tonight's game with a 1-0 record. For Crater, it was a beatdown of North Bend as the Comets came away with a 52-0 win over North Bend. And for Henley, it was a thriller down to the last second and a 22-21 victory over Seaside. What a start to the season last week, Kevin.
Yeah, last week's game was something else. We expected a good one, and it went right down to the wire, and I mean the wire.
Right, I mean almost overtime when you talk about winning it after the final buzzer.
I mean, Henley never led the entire game till time expired. I don't think I've ever been involved in a game like that. That was a crazy one for sure.
Certainly last week is a strong one for the Hornets, but I think you and I talked about it. They left a little bit to be desired on each end of the football. The defense came out. They allowed 21 points in the first half and none in the second half. It was really a tale of two halves. What did you think of the Hornets defense last week, Kevin?
Well, I think the most important thing was that they got better. I mean, they really improved in the second half. They made some good adjustments. They saw the game in front of them, knew what they had to do to make it better, and held Seaside's offense in check that whole second half. So good adjustments, good improvement, and that's all you want in these games, especially before league play starts. Get better each quarter, each half, each game until that league season starts.
Henley's offense came up when it mattered last week, too. Logan Whitlock rushed for over 100 yards and a touchdown. Shaw Stork threw for over 100 yards and a touchdown. Their offense was really humming, especially in that second half, Kevin.
Yeah, we were kind of curious about the running game, how the Hornets' running game would look, and they had some good numbers. They really rushed the ball well. In the second half, they made the plays when they needed to. They had a few mistakes, a lot of penalties in that second half that they want to clean up this week, but the playbook was great. Coach Pashy threw the ball when he needed to. They ran when they needed to, and got the win, yeah.
Really excited to dive into this team. We're going to look at Crater in a few minutes, but first we're going to take a break. We're going to look around the conference. We're going to look around the Klamath Basin and take a look at the top 10 in the 4A and the 5A as both teams are in the latest coaches poll that came out earlier this week. Then, of course, it's time for coin toss and first kick. Coming up as we continue our coverage of the Henley Hornets tonight, taking on the Crater Comets on 104.3 and 960 Sports.
The road can be a crazy place. Uh-oh!
And welcome you back to Henley Hornets football on 104.3 and 960 Sports. Back to Central Point, Oregon. We are live from Dutch Meyer Stadium at Crater High School. It's cooling down a little bit now. It's about 100 degrees when we rolled into town. We should see the 80s by the time we finish festivities here tonight. It's a great night for football. Kev, this Crater team is ranked 7th in the 5A class. They come off a huge win last week. You and I talked about it a little bit, 52-0 over North Bend. We saw this team warm up a little bit. They've got a lot of kids out here. What'd you see? You walked around. What'd you see from them warming up a little bit?
Yeah, of course, Crater's a class above Henley. They're a 5A school. Henley's a 4A school. And you can tell they have a lot of numbers and they have a lot of athletes. So Henley will be challenged today for sure, playing one of the better teams in 5A. But Henley always seems to come up strong in games like this, and they remain competitive. So that'll be our hopes tonight.
Look at some other things going on around the state. We'll start with the respective classifications. Let's take a look at the most recent coaches poll in the 4A. Mazama, team from the Basin, is ranked number 1 in the state, followed by Marist, then Pendleton. Scappoose is ranked 4th, followed by Estacada. Marshfield, another Big Sky Conference team, is in at the 6th spot, followed by Baker. These Henley Hornets are ranked 8th, and Cascade is 9, followed by Tillamook at number 10. And we also mentioned that Crater is in the top 10 in the 5A. We'll take a look at that classification. Wilsonville leads the way, followed by Summit, then Thurston at number 3. Silverton is ranked 4th, followed by Canby. West Albany is 6th, then these Crater Comets are 7th. Bend, the Lava Bears, are in 8th, followed by Lebanon, and then Mountain View as the 5A coaches poll top 10 as we continue looking around the state of Oregon, find out what else is happening in the Big Sky Conference. Tonight, Mazama is at home against Eagle Point. Klamath Union was supposed to play at Modoc Field tonight for a home game, but Klamath Falls City School District canceled school today. They moved everything out of town, so as a matter of fact, Klamath Union is playing Burns at Lakeview High School tonight, so just about an hour east of Klamath. Ashland on the road at North Eugene tonight. Hidden Valley is at home against Newport. North Bend on the road tonight against Willamette, and Marshfield taking on Cascade. That'll certainly be an interesting matchup as well. As far as some of the teams back home in the Basin, Lost River is taking on Myrtle Point this evening. Bonanza is at home against Alsea High School. Cross Point Christian on the road against Perrydale, and then tomorrow, Chiloquin is taking on Falls City. Some college football going on tomorrow as well that will remind you about. Oregon at home against Eastern Washington. I'm sure the Ducks would like a better game than last week. And Oregon State hoping to continue their good fortunes on the road tomorrow night against Fresno State. We're going to take another break on our pregame show. When we come back, we'll dive a little bit more into this matchup. We'll take a look at the Crater Comets and some history between our two head coaches this evening. We'll tell you a little bit about that coming up as we continue our show before the Henley Hornets take on the Crater Comets tonight on 104.3 and 960 Sports with HD video on mybasin.com.
Dirt can be a crazy place. Uh-oh! That's why Les Schwab Tires fixes brakes, steering, and more. And those guys don't. Keep driving. I'm just glad Les Schwab puts my safety first, so I can backseat drive with confidence.
Help maximize your mileage with a free safety check. Just swing by. Les Schwab Tires, celebrating 70 years of doing the right thing.
To us, pizza the way it ought to be isn't just our slogan. It's our promise and our passion to give you the best dining experience and the best tasting pizza you expect. For over 40 years, we've been making pizza the way it ought to be. Handmade with the freshest and finest ingredients. Our dough is made fresh daily, and we use 100% whole milk mozzarella cheese and toppings edge to edge. There's pizza, and then there's Mountain Mike's Pizza. Pizza the way it ought to be.
So lonely, I just sigh and moan. Seems like I've been away forever, wondering if you're coming home. I just saw your face, I know you're coming home. I swear there is no place home. And then I heard your voice. I know you're coming home. I know you're coming home.
This is where unconditional love and immeasurable happiness reside. This is home. Coldwell Banker, where home begins.
Threads. There are many threads that run through our region. There are churches and schools and Little League teams that bring us together and bind us into communities. There are roads and cars, there are houses and jobs and businesses, all woven together to make the fabric of our communities. There are financial threads that are part of that tapestry as well. For over 80 years, it's been our pleasure to be headquartered here, providing financial services to generations of our friends and neighbors. From that first savings account, to retirement planning, and all of the cars and houses and groceries in between, we keep your money local, investing it back into our communities, adding more threads to the fabric to make our communities stronger. Pacific Crest Federal Credit Union. Find your path.
Welcome back to Central Point. We're coming to you live from Crater High School this evening as the Henley Hornets have taken the field to a bit of booze tonight, Kev. We are in a hostile environment here on the road.
It kind of surprised me a little bit. I don't know what that's all about.
Yeah, they've got a nice student section out there. I imagine they were the ones probably making the noise as the Crater Comets are about to take the field here in just a minute. We're still about 10 minutes away, about 7 minutes away from kickoff. here in Central Point. As we take a look at the Henley Hornets, let's take a look at some of the numbers last week. Shaw Stork had a pretty solid game through the air, 12 of 21 passing, 104 yards. He threw a touchdown. It was that last touchdown of the game to Luke Bennett. He also threw an interception. Shaw carried the ball 8 times for 41 yards. He scored a touchdown in that respect as well. I think it was a good first game of the senior season for Shaw as well. What do you think, Kev?
Yeah, everything you mentioned pretty much happened in the second half.
Right.
So I think tonight, a key for Henley tonight is to come out at the beginning of the game strong. And that's always hard to do, especially on the road against a good team. But I think that will help because you're right, Shaw played very well in the second half.
Logan Whitlock had a pretty good game last week too, 14 carries, 128 yards. That totals out to 9.1 yards a carry. You'll take that every week, no questions asked.
Yeah, I think people are surprised. A lot of varsity teams haven't seen him yet, and they're surprised by his speed. He's very quick.
We'll take a look at some of the kids from Crater. Shane Wood, their quarterback, 10 of 11 passing last week, 212 yards. That's good for 10th in the state. Andrew Kelly, their running back, 3 touchdowns last week. That's good for 2nd in the state. And they've also got Luke Higginson coming back, who was all-conference wide receiver, defensive end, and punter last year. Kev, you don't see that combo too often. He runs a 4.9 40, according to head coach.
Wow, yeah, he never comes off the field, and there's a good reason.
And as we get ready for kickoff here in just a few minutes, also an interesting game for both of these head coaches. Kev, not sure if you knew Alex Stork was the head coach of Henley now, was part of Southern Oregon University's 2014 national championship team. Well, head coach Burke Brown over at Crater was Coach Stork's defensive coordinator at SOU. So a little bit of history between these two guys. Should be a fun game tonight.
Absolutely. They know each other, and I'm sure that they'll try to get the better of one another for sure. Yes.
Absolutely. One more break in the pregame show, then we're going to be ready for the coin toss and kickoff tonight from Central Point, Oregon, on the campus of Crater High School. The Hornets taking on the Comets tonight in week 2, just a few minutes away from kickoff, so stick with us on 104.3 and 960 Sports with HD video on Basin.com.
During COVID, I gained over 24 pounds. I lost motivation in working out. I lost motivation in eating healthy. And for me, if I'm not active, I just don't eat well. But then I started taking a class at Harbor's gym called High Low. The first week I felt like I didn't fit in and I couldn't do it. But the instructor was so kind and thanked me for coming and told me how well I did. I was like, no, I wasn't, but it made me come back the next week and the next week. And soon enough, I was keeping up with the class. I started introducing more classes and then going Saturdays. I learned how to lift weights accurately with repetition. I started lifting on my own. I started golfing too with my husband. And all of a sudden, I was buying salads instead of sandwiches. Small victories happened week by week, and it's 100% because of Harbor, their staff, their gym, the golf. My husband is getting out of the house and working out with me. His golf game is increasing, we're lifting together, and we feel good. Harbor, where I lost my reins and got my gains.
To us, pizza the way it ought to be isn't just our slogan. It's our promise and our passion to give you the best dining experience and the best tasting pizza you expect. For over 40 years, we've been making pizza the way it ought to be. Handmade with the freshest and finest ingredients. Our dough is made
And as we welcome you back to Crater High School on 104.3 960 Sports, HD video on mybasin.com, our captains meeting at midfield. Your captains for the Hornets, Logan Whitlock, Shaw Stork, Braden Morris, and Juan Manzo. For Crater, Spencer Bramucci, Andrew Kelly, and Mike Sherrill, the captains for Crater. And also Nate James, apologies there, Miss Nate, the captains for Crater to decide the coin toss. And Kevin, is there down there any final thoughts before kickoff this evening?
Well, last week we were talking about how it was perfect football weather, nice and cool and on the coast. This is a little different.
Right.
Okay, we got a lot of heat today. There's even a little smoke in the air. So I'm going to look a little bit for the depth of these teams. Some kids going to get a little bit more tired.
Starting under center tonight for the Hornets. No change there. Logan Whitlock in the backfield will get you the rest of the starters after this first play. 1st and 10 from the Hornets 13, and whistles before the first snap. Trying to find a flag.
It's a timeout, I believe. I think Crater took a timeout there.
No, maybe not the right personnel on the field.
Yeah.
Is that what you think? Okay,
Yeah.
well, we're going to stick with you through this small pause in the action. And a perfect time for us to remind you that tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Les Schwab Tires. Having the right set of tires and wheels on your vehicle is just part of an essential safety checklist, and that's why Les Schwab does more than install just tires and wheels. Come on in for a free pre-trip safety check, and they're going to help make sure that everything is in working order at Les Schwab Tires. And for those of you watching on the video stream, apologies for some of the technical difficulties we're experiencing in the early part of the game. Trying to get those ironed out for you, but if you don't want to miss any of the action, you can find your nearest radio or go to mybasin.com, hit listen live, and find us on 104.3 and 960 Sports. So we're ready to go. 1st and 10 from the Henley 14-yard line. Stork takes the snap, play action pass. It's going to be intended for Luke Bennett. Hit him right in the hands, but he dropped it. And so it'll bring up 2nd down for the Hornets.
It was a good throw. Luke just couldn't bring it in there. He did have a defender on him, but he most likely would have picked up a few yards had he made the catch.
Luke Bennett out there along with Chris Janney, your receivers, and Owen Sheen and Tyler Harper, the tight end, will get to the offensive line after this 2nd and 10. Stork takes the snap, a handoff to Whitlock up the middle, and he gets stopped and brought down. They're going to give him about a yard of forward progress. That brings up 3rd for the Hornets.
Caden Gardner for Crater was all over that play. And we have a 3rd and long.
See where the Hornets go here. They didn't have a lot of luck on 3rd down last week. Only 3 conversions on 8 tries. Here we go, 3rd and 9 for the Hornets from their own 15. Stork back there with Whitlock. Takes a snap, drops back, feels some pressure on his right, unloads one downfield. It's caught by Bennett. He's got room past the 50, now the 40, inside the 30, 25, 20, 15, 10. Touchdown, Luke Bennett. An 85-yard connection between Shaw Stork and Luke Bennett gets the Hornets on the board early.
That's an efficient way to pick up a 3rd down.
I would say so.
What a nice throw. Shaw's really good at putting that ball at just the right height. He put it just high enough and lofted it up there, and Bennett was able to grab it and take it all the way for the touchdown.
And it looks like the Hornets out there trying to go for 2. They had luck with it twice last week, trying to go again. The offensive line for Henley: Braden Morris, Owen Northcutt, Emiliano Ortiz, Juan Manzo, and Nate Tappan. And maybe they're switching up the personnel. Looks like they might go ahead and kick the extra point. They had the offense lined up out there first, but not trying to get too risky here on the road. They're going to go ahead and try to kick the extra point. Owen Sheen 0 for 1 on the season on such attempts. The snap, the hold, the kick is good. And the Henley Hornets with a 7-0 lead with 11 minutes and a second to go in the first. They're ahead of the Crater Comets, and Crater will get a chance to answer when we come back as we continue our football on 104.3 and 960 Sports.
Oregon men and women basketball season tickets are on sale now, starting at just $75 for 30 games. Come help us celebrate our 75th anniversary and cheer on the Hustlin' Owls. Reserved season seats start at $175. And our all-new Family Pass gets a family of 4 in on the action starting at just $200. Go to OregonTechOwls.com/tickets to order. We will see you at Danny Miles Court.
And we're back on 104.3 960 Sports HD video on mybasin.com. The Hornets have scored early in the ball game. It took them 3 plays and 59 seconds to earn a 7-0 lead over Crater. That is what you call an efficient drive, Kev.
Yeah, we talked about getting a good start, and it just took a while last week. That is exactly what you want coming in here for the Hornets. Well done.
It's 2 and they're back. We'll see what this 5 squad has in store for Henley. The kick is up and it's fielded at about the 10. Coming now to the near side is Schatz. He's got a little bit of room and he is down. No, he's keeping it going up to the 50, down at the 45-yard line in Henley territory. On the return was Andrew Schatz, the senior, 170 pounds, taking that one on the return and gives Crater great field position on this second drive of the game.
Chris Janney finally making the tackle for the Hornets. Henley had 2 or 3 or 4 opportunities to make the tackle, and just some poor tackling on that return. And they paid for it in field position right there, as Crater will have the ball in Hornet territory to start their first possession.
And so the starting offense for Crater at quarterback is going to be Shane Wood. He takes the snap, looks to the side, takes the screen pass, and Crater breaking out a trick play early, unleashing it downfield. Intended target was Bramucci, but the throw just a bit in front of him. It looked like Schatz was trying to make the second throw there. That was an interesting first play of the game for Crater. They tried to answer back quick there.
Yeah, I like how they're opening up the playbook here. A little tricky play. His receiver was open by about a step or two. Just the throw was just a little beyond his receiver, and sometimes that'll happen when you have someone who's not used to throwing the football throw it. And Henley got a little break there.
So that'll bring up 2nd and 10 for Crater. 10:43 left to go in the first quarter. Wood sends Schatz in motion. This is a sweep handoff to the near side. He is caught up for a gain of a few yards. And Henley recovered a fumble on the near sideline. Didn't see that one pop out with the swarm of Hornets down here on the sideline, but Henley taking the ball away from Crater after just 2 plays.
Janney and Sheen and McCoy were all there to make the tackle and grabbing at the football. I didn't see who ended up with it, but what a nice defensive play for Henley. Things are going their way here early for sure.
Well, Henley is going to take over from the Crater 40. This is a handoff to Whitlock up the middle, and he is stuffed after a gain of a couple.
Looked like Higginson on the tackle there. We talked a little bit about him in the pregame show. Good defensive player.
Without a doubt, all conference from the Midwestern League. And the Big Sky Conference, which Henley plays in this year, gaining a couple teams from the Midwestern League from last year. Ashland coming and joining the conference, as well as North Bend. And Marshfield as the third addition to the Big Sky Conference this year. All right, here we go. We're looking at 2nd and about 8. Stork takes the snap, looks to his right, feels pressure, rolls out to his right. He's trying to take it upfield. A flag in the backfield. Stork is cutting upfield. He's up to the 50 before being knocked down out of bounds. But there is some laundry right around the 40-yard line of the line of scrimmage.
Good coverage downfield by Crater on the Henley receivers. And Shaw bought himself a lot of time, did a nice job drifting out to his right, but there may have been a hold against the Hornets here.
And we'll see what it is. Doug Hall, the referee here tonight, the Whitecap, so we'll find out what the call is. And likely that his back will be faced to us tonight, but...
Yeah, he made the call, I believe, Josh.
Did he? Okay.
Yeah.
So there it is. There's the hold. Henley's going back a few yards. They're taking it now from the 31-yard line, so it'll be 2nd and 19 for the Hornets here. Stork back there with Whitlock. Whitlock off to his right. Stork looks right, dumps it off to Whitlock, who cuts upfield, breaks one tackle, now up past the 35, being wrestled down at the 40, but he keeps on trucking. That's a 10-yard gain for Logan Whitlock, back to the original line of scrimmage, maybe even a couple more yards, as it'll be 3rd down and about 8 to go.
That was a sharp throw by Shaw. You don't really think about it much when there's little short passes like that, but he led Logan just right, so he was able to catch that ball at full speed and pick up a head of steam and get a nice gainer.
The Hornets tonight in their road uniforms, featuring the navy helmet, white jerseys with yellow numbers on the back with navy blue trim, and yellow pants and a navy stripe down the side. Crater with white helmets tonight, orange jerseys with white lettering, and white pants with an orange and black stripe down the side. It is 3rd down and 9. Stork drops back. He feels pressure. He gets wrapped up. He stays on his feet finally. Brought down in the backfield, and a big sack for the Crater defense, and that forces a 4th and forever for the Hornets.
And that was Luke Higginson again. I have a feeling we'll be calling his name a few times tonight. He's very quick, very sure-handed, and picked up a sack there.
Higginson, a senior, listed as 6'3" on the official OSAA roster, but in interviews given by Burke Brown, he said he's about 6'5", and he's quick. He can jump. He's an athlete. He's an all-conference returning player and forces a 4th down for the Hornets. Stork is going to be forced to punt. Back to receive it for Crater is Scott Price. The kick is up from the 20. It's a high kick that's going to bounce around at the 50. Kick back a couple of yards and down at about the 46 in Henley territory. That is where Crater will start their second drive at the Henley 46 with 8:08 to go in the first quarter, and Henley up 7-0.
Crater's been gifted with some pretty good field position here in this first quarter, so we'll see if they can cash in this time.
Last time it was a fumble recovery for the Hornets, and it was a 3-and-out for Henley on that second drive of the game. We'll see if Crater can answer back here. The rest of the starters for Crater, aside from their quarterback, Shane Wood, you've got receiver Spencer Benucci and Andrew Schatz. You've also got their running back, Andrew Kelly, and Scott Price out there, the offensive line after this. This is a handoff to the near side, wrapped up in the backfield, and wrestled down is Andrew Kelly, the senior, 5'10", gets stuffed, and 2nd and long coming up for the Crater Comets.
Nice play by Owen Northcutt. He read that play right away. He wasn't fooled. And a significant loss on that play. Lost about 5.
Offensive line for Crater. At tight end, by the way, we've got Caden Gardner, Mike Sherrill on the offensive line, along with Justin Bream, Gio Gonzalez, Caleb Canfield, and Reagan Gowan. The offensive line for the Crater Comets. 2nd and about 16. Dropping back and completing the pass over the middle to Caden Gardner was Wood. A completion of a bit more than 10 yards brings up 3rd and 2 for Crater.
Luke Bennett in on the stop, and that receiver was wide open. He found a nice seam, 6 or 7 yards downfield. Still 3rd and about 4 here.
All right, 3rd and 4. The yard to gain is the 35. Wood takes the snap, looks downfield, and has to scramble, tries to run right up the middle, and is stopped. It looks like a couple of yards short of the first down. Tough to see who exactly was in on that tackle. There's a jumble of players at the bottom of that pile, but they all converged on Shane Wood at the same time. This Henley defensive front, Kev, one of the big things coming into this game was, can the Hornets get into the defensive backfield? And so far, at least in the first couple of possessions, they've shown the ability to do so.
They have. Owen Northcutt was the first one there on that tackle again, and he's having some nice success on this drive. 4th down.
4th down and about 2 to go, and the Crater offense is going for it. And Coach Stork is taking time. That is the Hornets' first timeout of this half. And a good time to remind you that this game is brought to you by Abby's Legendary Pizza. If you're looking for a great place to eat, head to one of Abby's Legendary Pizza locations for some of the best pizza in the Klamath Basin at 1919 Austin Street or at 2226 Shalleck Street near OIT. Abby's Legendary Pizza is a proud supporter of high school athletics. 4th and short here for the Crater Comets. This Henley defense close to getting off the field again. And one of the things last week, Kev, especially in that first half, this defense just could not get off the field. They allowed long drives, a 13-play drive, an 8-play drive. And they've created early turnovers here and now a chance to get off the field.
Yeah, that's a good point. A lot of 3rd and 4th down conversions made last week. And Henley wants to try to stop that for sure.
So 6:15 to go in the first, and Henley up 7-0. The Crater offense back out there in a 4th and 2 situation, driving into Henley territory. 2 receivers set out to the near side for Shane Wood. And they tried to get Henley on the hard count, and it looks like they did on 4th down. A flag is thrown on the near sideline. And it is offsides against Henley. So it's going to be a 1st down for Crater, their first of the ball game.
The oldest trick in the book, but it works. That's why it's in the book.
And that's why it's the oldest one.
That's right. Unfortunate mistake for Henley. It'll give them a new set of downs.
It'll be 1st and 10 from the Henley 34-yard line. Pardon me, Henley 33-yard line. 1st and 10 for Crater. Back in the backfield for Wood. It's going to be Kelly off to his right side. Wood sends a man in motion. It's Shad. It's a play-action pass. Wood looking downfield, having to scramble, trying to move out to his left. Now moves upfield and is stopped after a gain of 2 or 3 yards. That'll bring up second down for the Comets.
Credit the Henley defensive backfield with that play. They did an excellent job covering those receivers downfield.
So it'll bring up second down and about 8 to go for Crater. They line up with the ISO formation and Wood under center. Oh, pardon me, no, it's a snap into the backfield, and Kelly takes the handoff, and a tackle for maybe a yard loss brings up 3rd and long for the Comets.
Juan Manzo all over that one.
Manzo, a senior captain of this team, known primarily for his work on the offensive line, but getting some good work here on the defensive end too. And the Hornets doing a good job of creating a bit of havoc up front at the line of scrimmage. 5 minutes to go in the first. Henley leads 7-0. It is 3rd and 8 for the Comets. Wood takes the snap, is rolling out to his right, looking downfield, fires one, it's tipped and incomplete. Tyler Harper in to tip the football and make the defensive play.
Tyler saved a big gain there. That ball was going to be completed downfield for a substantial gain, and Tyler knocked it away. Nice play.
So now the Crater offense with a decision here. Do you go for it on 4th and 8 deep into Henley territory? Although they're not that deep. They're at the 31-yard line. It's decision time for head coach Burke Brown for Crater. He's in his 3rd season, an 11-6 record at Crater in the past 3 years. He's got his offense out there to try to go for it on 4th down. Wood drops back to pass. Looks over to the far sideline, hits his receiver right in the chest, and Scott Price is upset because he dropped it on the far sideline. A sure thing first down, but it bounced off his shoulder pads, and Henley catching a big break there.
Yeah, Crater released 4 receivers on that play, and that ball was catchable, and it was just about a yard beyond the first down marker, so it would have been a first down. Instead, Henley will take over.
Henley's offense back out there, a 3-and-out last time, and on their first drive of the ball game was a quick strike touchdown. Luke Bennett took it to the house for 85 yards. And we'll see what the Hornets offense has in store now as they take it 1st and 10 from their own 31. We got 3 receivers set to the near side for Henley. Whitlock to the right of Shaw Stork. Takes a snap. This is a keeper for Stork. It was an option. He takes it up the middle, and a good gain for Shaw. Call it 9 yards on the play, and that'll bring up 2nd and 1.
That was a nice play call there. You only have 1 running back in the backfield with Stork, but you actually have 2 when you count Shaw.
Right.
And in that case, he faked the ball to Logan. A lot of the defenders followed Logan, and then Shaw had a little lane to the right. So good play.
Same formation coming out to the Hornets. 3 receivers to the near side, and Whitlock off to his right. That's the opposite side. This one is a handoff to Whitlock. He cuts back to the right. He's got a little bit of room onto the right side. He's up past midfield, now inside the 40. He's got room up the sideline, past the 30, down past the 25, near the 20, and a big game for Logan Whitlock on the other side of the field. 1st and 10 Hornets.
It's a nice piece of running. Wasn't at full speed in the middle of the field there. Kind of picked his way through his defenders and then made that corner and turned on the Jets. Big gain.
Good vision by the junior, 5'9", 175 pounds. Whitlock bringing the ball downfield, and that's going to be placed at about the Crater 21-yard line. This one's a direct snap to Stork. He gets wrapped up in the backfield and brought down. A loss of a few yards, about 3 or 4 yards on the play. And so that'll bring up 2nd and long for Henley.
Mike Sherrill of the Comets made the tackle there. That was a pretty good read by the defense that time. Shaw really had nowhere to go.
Second down on the way for the Hornets. 2 receivers set to the near side. It's Bennett and Janney. Sheen and Redmond out to the far side. Stork dumps it off near side to Bennett. Looked to be a bubble screen that amounted to a couple of yards on the play. Brings up third down for Henley.
Stork just took one step and fired it. Just going with a quick pass, try to get the ball into someone who can make some moves and possibly run the ball down the field. And it leaves Henley with a 3rd and 8 or 9.
2.5 to go. Henley leads 7-0 here in the first quarter. And they got Crater to jump, so they're going to bring it forward just a few yards.
That's a good break for Henley in the red zone. Getting them a little closer to at least a first down here.
Henley so far tonight on third down is 1 for 2. And trying for another go at things here. Clock running, 2:10 to go in the first. Henley up 7-0.
Maybe changing the play here.
Yeah, it looks like they're all looking to the sideline. And they're getting the signs from Coach Pashy. And Stork ready to take the snap. And timeout called by the Hornets. Looks to be what's going on here. So that's their second one of the half. They've used up both of them in the first quarter. Sure, they would have liked to save a couple of them, but rather get the play right here when it counts.
Yeah, you're in a very important position here. You have third down and short in the red zone. You want to get some points for sure. So there was some confusion calling the play, so they used the timeout, and they'll get it squared away.
I'd like to remind you, this game brought to you by Pacific Crest Federal Credit Union. Picking the right path can make the journey easier, the distance shorter, and can assure that you end up at the right place. Whether you're dreaming of owning a home or you just want a great checking account, Pacific Crest Federal Credit Union can help you reach your goals. Timeout called with 1:56 to go in the first quarter. Henley up 7-0. They scored on the very first drive of the game. Since then, neither offense has had a lot of luck. A fumble recovery, a turnover on fourth down for Crater, and for Henley, it was a punt in their second drive of the game, now with their third possession. And they are just, well, now they're in the red zone. They started this set of downs just outside the red zone at the 21. And now it is 2nd and short. A handoff to Whitlock coming to the near side. He's got some blocks. He's got some room, and he is into the end zone. A Henley touchdown.
Nice blocking on the outside by Luke Bennett in that wide receiver position. Really drove his player down the field and allowed Whitlock to score. Good drive by the Hornets.
Whitlock scored from about 15 yards out. Tough to tell exactly from where we are, but a good rush as Henley is content to kick the extra point with Sheen again. The kick is up. It splits the uprights, and it is good. The Hornets up 14-0 against Crater with 1:51 to go in the first quarter. That drive for the Hornets, 6 plays, lasted just under 3 minutes and capped off with a Logan Whitlock touchdown from about 15 yards out. That was a solid drive. They put together good play calling and converted with some points there at the end.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of good things. Also want to comment on the extra points. Didn't make one kicking last week. Got the first 2. I'm sure they worked on it all week. And we know how those are important. Every point's important. So just a good quarter for the Hornets, for sure.
Last week was talking with Coach Stork after the game, and he said they weren't having a lot of luck with that extra point because it's a little bit misty in Seaside.
Right.
And the ball is just slick enough to where they didn't feel confident with the hold and the kick and that sort of thing.
Right.
So going for it with the extra point was positive last week. Sheen only missed 1 extra point attempt last year.
Right.
And so he's solid. We know that, and he's connected twice so far tonight to give the Hornets a 14-0 lead with 1:51 to go here in the first quarter. Henley's already built a 2-score lead, and Crater with a chance to get the football back.
There's no mist here tonight.
No mist.
I could use some mist.
Yeah, maybe just a little bit. Temperatures could drop a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a nice night. It starts to cool down with the sun behind us here in Central Point. As we kind of progress through the evening, it is a nice night for football.
It is. It really is.
You can hear the drum line of the Crater students section as the kick goes up from Owen Sheen, kicking it to the near side of the field. It's going to be fielded at about the 15, bringing it up past the 20 and down just past the 25. Carrying the ball that time for Crater was Scott Price.
Rylan Fox with a nice open field tackle. Good job there.
It looks like they're marking that one at the 29 in Crater territory as they drive from left to right across your screen. And the Henley defense looking for another creative stop.
This will be their worst field position to start a drive.
Each other drive that they've had have started in Henley territory, so now starting at their own 29, Crater's going to have to put together a drive.
Yep.
All right, 1st and 10 from the 29. Wood in the backfield. Takes the snap. It looks to be an option. Wood taking it up the middle of the field and tackled from behind. Lost his helmet on the play, but a solid gain of a few yards up past the 30 at about the 32. So call it a 4 or 5 yard gain for Wood on the carry.
And when a player loses their helmet in high school, they have to come off the field for a play. So we'll see someone new in here for at least one play.
And quarterbacking now for Crater looks to be Ben Higginson. He's made some impact on the defensive end. Oh, pardon me, that was his older brother Luke. Ben is the younger sophomore, 6'1", getting his first snap at quarterback here. Looks to be a keeper for him too. Thought about going right, but cuts back to his left. Has a little bit of room up the far sideline, but he is wrapped up and brought down. And it looks like he is just short of the first. It'll be 3rd and about 1 to go.
Chris Janney at the bottom of the pile there. That was kind of a tricky play, bringing in a new quarterback and let him run the ball right away.
Right.
That was interesting. So both teams are trying to mix it up. Of course, these coaches know each other, so they're going to try to do some nuanced things.
And we mentioned in the pregame show, Coach Burke Brown was the defensive coordinator for Coach Alex Stork when they won a national championship at SOU in 2014. Under 30 seconds to go in the first, and Henley up 14-0. Crater tried to get him on the 3rd and 1 hard count, but now having to run a play now at 15 seconds to go in the first quarter. And a flag is thrown in the backfield. Well, in the defensive backfield, I should say. And delay of game against Crater. They really tried to get Henley on the hard count, and it bit him a little bit. As now it's going to be 3rd and 6.
Yeah, that's costly. It was 3rd and only about a foot. They had basically 2 downs to pick up just a yard, and that backs them up.
So we'll run one more play here in the first quarter, 10 seconds to go, and Henley up 14-0 on the road in week 2. We'll see what the quarterback Shane Wood has in store here. Wood takes the snap, drops back, feels some pressure in the pocket, moves up, fires it across the middle of the field, now along the far sideline. The pass was caught by Price, and he is brought down after a gain of about 15 yards, and so that'll bring up 1st and 10 for Crater. And it looks like the tackle was made out of bounds as well, so the clock stopped with 4 seconds.
Chris Janney was able to push him out of bounds on the far side. And Crater's having luck with the shorter routes. They're kind of falling into the short portion of the field, and with defensive backs are just a little too deep.
Kyle Nichols checking into the game for the Hornets on 1st and 10 for the Comets. The clock is rolling at 4 seconds. We'll see if we get the snap off and an official timeout before the end of the first quarter. Bit of confusion either way. The end of the first quarter. Henley leads 14-0 on the road tonight against Crater. When we come back, the Comets will continue this drive as they try to climb back into this ball game, but it's been all Henley in the first quarter. Stay with us on 104.3 and 960 Sports. We've got HD video on Moxon.com.
Threat. There are many threads that run through our region. There are churches and schools and Little League teams that bring us together and bind us into communities. There are roads and cars, there are houses and jobs and businesses, all woven together to make the fabric of our communities. There are financial threads that are part of that tapestry as well. For over 80 years, it's been our pleasure to be headquartered here, providing financial services to generations of our friends and neighbors. From that first savings account, to retirement planning, and all of the cars and houses and groceries in between, we keep your money local, investing it back into our communities, adding more threads to the fabric to make our communities stronger. Pacific Crest Federal Credit Union. Find your path.
Right back into the action as Shane Wood drops back and dumps off a pass for a gain of a couple as we welcome you back to the second quarter in Central Point at Crater High School. The Hornets up on the Comets 14-0. The clock is rolling with 11:45 to go in the second, and Crater with possession of the football. There is a conversation at midfield where the ball was downed, and not quite sure what they're talking about, Kev.
Well, it was a tricky play. The quarterback was in the motion of throwing the ball, so they may be talking whether or not it's incomplete pass or whether the ball was fumbled and picked up. So I think this is going to take a minute to work this out.
It could also be, again, we're kind of at an angle here, so tough to tell exactly. But if he goes for the throw kind of as a fake past the line of scrimmage, he didn't release the ball, so it wouldn't be an illegal forward pass.
Right.
So I'm not quite sure what the exact conversation is down on the field. You can see the officiating crew talking down there. The white cap tonight is Doug Hall. He is assisted on the field by Jake Klecker, Brian Young, Alex Schoenhard, and Christian Siqueiros.
Yeah, they're going to go with incomplete pass. They felt the quarterback was trying to throw the ball, so it's going to come back and be 2nd and 10, I believe.
Right, okay. So there we have it. 2nd and 10, 11:55 to go in the game. Wood is going to hand it off, and the ball carrier was Andrew Kelly, brought down for a small gain of maybe 1 yard, brings up 3rd and long for Crater.
I think that was Manzo again. Made a couple nice plays tonight.
They're going to say 3rd and 8. Crater so far tonight 0 for 3 on 3rd down conversions. Haven't had luck. And the Hornets defense has stood stout so far in this first half.
They have played well.
2 receivers to the near side for Crater. It's going to be Price and Gardner. The tight end is going to line up on the line of scrimmage. Wood takes the snap, drops back, looks to his left, fires down to the left side, and into no man's land. It looks like the intended target was Gardner, but the pass landed about 5 yards too far. That brings up 4th and 8.
Kyle Nichols on the defense on that pass. Good protection from Crater that time. A lot of time to throw the football, but once again, Henley dropping back a lot of defensive backs and had really, really good coverage.
Now it looks like Crater is going to punt for the first time in the ball game. And Chris Janney back to receive it. Kicking is Andrew Schatz. The snap, the kick at the 39. It is a booming kick, fielded at about the 15 and flags down after the tackle on the far side of the field, so we'll see what the call ends up being.
Janney made a nice catch in traffic. I'm wondering if the Crater defenders were too close. We'll see what the call is here.
Conversations by the officiating crew again tonight. 10:57 to go in the second, and we'll get a good look. Again, the grandstand on the opposite side of the field of us, so the Whitecap, Doug Hall, going to be facing away from us when he makes his signal to the box tonight, but we'll still try to give you the best we can with his back to us. Here is the call.
And it looks like it was on the Hornets. Chris made a nice catch.
So the penalty is going against Henley. They'll bring the ball back, and they're going to place it at what looks to be about the 6 or 7 yard line. So Henley deep in their own territory as they take over 1st and 10. Stork takes the snap. This is going to be a handoff to Whitlock. He's coming up the near side. There is a flag down as Whitlock cups up the field. He's up past the 30 before stepping out of bounds. But again, there is a flag in the backfield.
Whitlock just stepped out of bounds just barely. Had he not stepped out, he might have gone all the way.
And we'll see about this flag as well, as that was a good run by Whitlock along the near sideline. And it's going to be holding against the Hornets. So can't go back quite 10 yards. Now in this situation, is it half the distance to the goal, or are they going back to the 1?
It'll be half the distance here. So not that much of a penalty, but it does negate a good run. So we'll be 1st down again.
1st and about 13 after that holding call, as Henley now at their own 3 yard line. Stork with Whitlock. This is going to be another handoff to Logan along the near side. He is tripped up after a small gain on the play, bringing up 2nd down for Henley. Still deep in their own territory. Looks to be about a 2 yard gain. 2nd and about 11 or 12.
Penalties playing a little havoc on the Hornets on this drive. Having to play from deep in their own territory. And that's exactly what Crater wants to see here. They're being a little bit more aggressive with their defense.
Henley is leading by 2 scores, 14-0 with 10:15 to go in the 2nd. Stork takes the snap, a design QB run to the near side. He breaks through 1 tackle and is dragged out of bounds after a gain of 3, got up to the 11. It'll be well short of the 1st down, but it'll be 3rd and about 9.
We'll see if Henley decides to throw here. You want to be careful deep in your own territory.
Henley hasn't faced 3rd down too much tonight. They are 1 for 2 on such attempts. 9:45 to go in the 1st half, and Henley leads 14-0. Stork with Whitlock to his right. Whistles blown, and timeout Hornets, their final timeout of this 1st half. They lead 14-0, 9:37 to go in the 2nd. And a fine time to remind you that this game is brought to you by Coldwell Banker Home and Premier Realty. Little things can add up to big bills when you're buying, selling, or owning a home. And Coldwell Banker Home and Premier Realty's exclusive Beyond the Sale guarantees protect buyers, sellers, and home owners from unexpected repair bills. To learn more, call Coldwell Banker Home and Premier Realty today. Henley offense being stuffed a little bit on this drive. Some penalties have pinned them back deep in their own territory. When we come back, ready for this 3rd down play, it'll be from their own 11.
Henley used all their timeouts, but this is a wise move. You don't want to make a mistake here. You have the ball right around your own 10-yard line. You want to make sure you call a good play, and if you have to punt, so be it on 4th.
So the offense back out there. 2 wide receivers out to the left of Shaw. In the backfield, he is going to drop back to pass. Looks over the middle of the field, deep to the near sideline, and over the head of the intended receiver, Owen Sheen. Incomplete pass, and that brings up 4th for Henley.
I think there's a penalty flag on this near side, and
looks to be one on the far side, too.
Yes, so we'll have to sort these out. Owen may have been pushed on his route.
He leapt up in the air to make an attempt on the football, and the Henley sideline seemed to have seen something, but I'm sure the sideline would like to see something in for play.
Sure.
And it looks like it is coming this way. So against the Comets, looked like pass interference, so I think you saw that right. That'll make it 1st and 10.
That was a big play.
Yes,
A 1st down after being deep in their own territory. Good break for Henley.
And they are at the 25-yard line. 1st and 10. This is a keeper for Stork, trying to come up the near sideline. Finds a hole, now up to the 30 before being brought down. And Stork might have let that one pop loose. Crater seems to think they got the football, and they did. Shaw Stork coughing up the ball, and a turnover. The Comets get it deep in Hornets territory.
That was really close. Just before his knee hit on that tackle, the ball popped up, and the Crater defender picked it up. So it was a fumble, and Crater makes their own break.
Crater is going to take over at the Henley 30 with 9:22 to go in the first half. The Hornets up 14-0 against 5A's number 18, the Crater Comets. Wood fires over the middle, and the pass is incomplete. 2nd and 10.
This has been an entertaining game. We've had some penalties on both sides, some turnovers on both sides, some explosive offense. Really a lot going on here. And Henley's getting the better of it right now, leading by 14.
On the road here in week 2. The Hornets will be on the road again in week 3 when they take on Ashland this side of the 140. And a big play coming up here. 2nd and 10 for Crater. Wood back there with Kelly. Play action pass. Wood finds a little bit of room to roll up the middle. He's got some room. He's up inside the 20 and brought down at the 15 or 14 yard line. That'll be a first down for the Comets. Not quite first and goal yet.
That was just a broken play. He was able to make his way through that line out of the pocket and a nice gain downfield.
Something of note for the Comets offense, only their 2nd first down of the game. That equals Henley's total, 2 first downs as well. 1st and 10 from the 16. Kelly takes the handoff, trying to go along the right side, wrapped up after a short gain on the play. 2nd down, Comets.
I think I see Mr. McCoy in there on that tackle. Nicely done. Matthew a fixture on that line. 2nd down.
Looks to be from about the Crater, the Henley 13-yard line. 8:20 to go in the half, and Henley up 14-0. Student section getting into it here in Central Point. This is a sweep coming to the near side, wrapped up and brought down in the backfield. A big play for the Henley defense there, and a loss of a couple of yards for Crater brings up 3rd and long.
Owen Northcutt played that very nicely. Even though that play started from the right side, he kept his edge on the left and was able to make the tackle. Got a little help from Janney over there. Good defense.
All right, 3rd and 11 coming up for Crater. They're in Henley territory for the 3rd time tonight. Have yet to convert points. They're down by 2 scores. Wood drops back, feels pressure, fires a pass over the middle, incomplete. 4th down coming up.
Oh, that was crazy. Logan Whitlock was coming on a blitz from his linebacker spot, and he made Wood throw that ball way before he wanted to.
That makes Crater 0 for 5 on 3rd down tonight. Henley has done a great job on 3rd down this evening, but deep into Henley territory, Crater looks to keep the offense out there. It'll be 4th and 11 from the 16. Wood takes the snap. It's a handoff to Kelly. No, it's a keeper from Wood. He's coming up the near side. He is going to step out of bounds just short, it looks like, of the first down marker. We'll get the official ruling in just a moment.
Yeah, they're going to turn it over on downs. And that was a nifty play. That ball switched hands twice. You see it, the quarterback flipped it to a wide receiver coming around. He flipped it back to another, and he reversed his field. And it was a nice little gain, but not enough for the first. Henley defense playing it tough.
So Crater tonight 0 for 5 on 3rd down, 0 for 2 on 4th down, and now Henley takes over deep in their own territory at, looks to be the 7 or 8 yard line, again deep in their own territory. It's a run up the middle from Whitlock, and he finds daylight. There's no one in front of him. He's up past midfield, the 45, the 40. He's being caught up to past the 30, now to the 25, and brought down past the 20. More than 60 yards on the play, and a huge gainer from Logan Whitlock. He is third in the state in rushing, and he's showing you why.
Nice patience at the line of scrimmage by Whitlock. He found that hole, and he darted right through it. And as fast as he is, Aiden Chenoweth from Crater caught him.
Yeah.
I mean, he had wheels. I thought Logan was going to score, and he made a nice effort to not give up on the play and make the tackle at about the 16.
Yes, now at the 16, and the Henley offensive line is sharing a few high fives. That will definitely be a happy review at film this weekend.
For sure.
All right, 1st and 10 from the Crater 16. Way to flip field position. This is a design keeper for Stork. He cuts upfield inside the 10, brought down at the 7.
This is the most confident we've seen Whitlock and Stork running the football, I feel. You can tell when they're confident. They kind of take that extra second to look where they want to go. They kind of see the field, and really makes Henley difficult to defend when you have your runners doing that.
Each second-year varsity players, yes, Whitlock got hurt about halfway through last season, but he did get some reps last year. The game really slows down when you get to that second year at varsity.
Yes.
2nd and 1 at the Crater 12. Or pardon me, at the Crater 6. This is a handoff. Carry up the middle. A first down. It'll be 1st and goal from the Crater 3-yard line.
Henley's line play, both offensively and defensively, really looking sharp in this first half.
Henley up 2 scores right now, 14-0 with 5:44 to go in the first half. Sheen going to line up to the near side, as well as Chris Janney. Tyler Harper out there at the tight end, hugging the right side of the offensive line. And one wide receiver set out to the left of Stork, along with Whitlock to his left side. A handoff to Whitlock, bounces around the offensive line, tries to get outside, but wrapped up, brought down for a loss of a couple yards. That will bring up 2nd and goal from the 5.
Luke Higginson again on the tackle for the Comets. When he's able to read the play, he's pretty tough to stop defensively. Good player.
Owen Sheen to the near side for Henley. Tyler Harper also along the near side, and Janney and Bennett on the opposite side of the field for Stork, who has Whitlock to his left. Harper in motion, going from right to left. It's a keeper for Stork, tries to bounce around one defender, gets caught up in the backfield and wrapped up at the 6. And another loss on the play brings up 3rd and goal from the 6. So a couple of plays going backwards for Henley, but still deep in Crater territory with 3rd down looming.
Stork just couldn't shake that first tackler, and once he got slowed down, there was a lot of help behind him. So 3rd down. They've got about 6 yards to score a touchdown. Henley taking their time here. Sometimes they'll go quickly, sometimes they'll slow it down. It's always good to mix it up.
All right, 3rd and goal from the 6. Stork takes the snap, looks to the end zone for a pass, and is wrapped up, drops the football, and Crater falls on it. 2nd fumble for Stork in this half, and Crater will take it from their own 20.
Nate James with the fumble recovery for Crater. Just a little bit too much pressure on Stork on the last 2 or 3 plays of this drive, and he really had no chance there. He didn't see the defender coming, and the ball got knocked loose. And Crater will get another shot with about 4 minutes to play here in the half.
So not quite from the 20, as I think Shaw coughed the ball up at the 15. It rolled to the 20, but they're going to mark it down at the 15. 4:09 to go in the half. And it'll be Crater football. So this is the second fumble for Stork. See if Crater can put together this drive. Wood is going to hand it off to Kelly coming up the near side. He's up past the 20 and knocked out of bounds at the 25. So a solid gain there.
Another nice open field tackle by Kyle Nichols.
And looks to be a first down for Crater at their own 25. Third first down of the game for Crater. Snap to Wood, another handoff to Kelly along the near side. He gets wrapped up in the backfield and brought down. A loss of 1 on the play. 2nd and long coming up for the Comets.
Nolan Northcott was just driving through the line, and he almost made that tackle in the backfield, but he slowed him down enough, and it was still a loss on the play.
Henley has continued to do a good job in the second quarter of getting in the backfield. They have won the line of scrimmage, at least here in the first half. 2nd and 11. Wood drops back to pass, dumps it off to the near receiver. Taking it upfield for a gain of about 5 was the running back, Andrew Kelly, who snuck in on a screen pass.
That was a textbook middle screen right there. And he had blockers in front, but Logan Whitlock did a nice job sneaking around there, making the tackle. And it brings up another 3rd and long.
Crater tonight, again, 0 for 5 on third down conversions. And with a big one coming up here, down 2 scores, 14-0 with 2:45 to go in the first half. 3rd and 7. Wood takes the snap, drops back, feels pressure to his backside, now rolling out to his right, unloads one downfield and incomplete. 4th down and long on the way for the Comets.
He almost threw that one away, really had nowhere to go. Good coverage downfield by the Henley defense, and that ball was overthrown by quite a bit. So we'll see if we're in another punting situation for the Comets.
And while the Comets haven't scored, this is their 5th possession. They've only punted one other time in the ball game. And it looks like that's what they are going to do here. It'll be Chris Janney back to receive. The punt is up, it is high, and it's fairly deep as well. It's going to bounce around at the 45, kick around at the other 45, and it looks like that is where Henley will take it at their own 45-yard line.
That ball took some sharp bounces, and Henley was wise to just get away from the football and take the good field position out near midfield. 2 minutes, 21 seconds to work with. We've mentioned before, Henley can score quickly. They'll put that 2-minute offense to the test right now.
It was 2 minutes, 19 seconds on the clock to close out Seaside last week. They've got 2 more seconds to try to close out this first half. Whitlock takes the handoff up the middle, and he is stuffed after a gain of a couple. 2nd down coming up for the Hornets.
There was a big hole there initially, but it closed up quickly. Some good reaction by Crater that time. Just picked up a yard.
Under 2 minutes now. Henley leads 14-0 in the first half. It'll be 2nd and 9 on the 1-yard gain from Whitlock.
Henley is without a timeout, which may play a role here.
Crater still has 2 timeouts this half. Stork looking to the near side, unloads one downfield, and the intended target was Bennett, but it's incomplete. That'll bring up 3rd.
It was a good route there, but better coverage by Isaiah Daniels. Cornerback on this side for Crater. And the clock will stop as the pass falls incomplete.
Now we'll see if Henley decides to go with the pass again or the ground game, which has worked real nice tonight again for Stork and Whitlock.
Yeah.
Whitlock to the right of Stork along with one receiver, 2 to the left. This is going to be a handoff to Whitlock. Finds some room along the far side of the field. He's up along the far sideline, up past the 50, brought down before reaching the 45. That'll be...
It's really close to a first. They got it.
They got it, yeah, just by about a yard. So
good surge and good downfield blocking from the Hornets. Just enough for a first down.
5th of the night for Henley. They are now 2 for 3 on third down conversions. And they keep possession of the football with 1:32 to go in the half. Up 2 scores, 14-0 over Crater in week 2. Stork gets the snap, another handoff to Whitlock, trying to come to the near side, cut up the middle, but he is wrapped up and brought down after a short gain of 2 yards. Second down coming up, maybe 3.
Not much room up the middle in that time for Whitlock. And the clock becoming somewhat of an issue.
Ticking past 1:10 to go in the half. Stork takes the snap, looks to his left, feels the pressure, is now going to run up the left side, unloads one on the run. It's caught at the 35 and running up past the 20, down inside the 16. That looked to be Tyler Harper.
I think it was Chris Janney.
Chris Janney, okay.
And he did a nice adjustment. His route was kind of broken. He looked back to Shaw, and they made eye contact, and he kind of found a little seam. Good throw, good catch.
1st and 10 for the Hornets from the Crater 20. Another handoff to Whitlock, stumbled a bit in the backfield, but finds some room up to inside the 15, now inside the 10, brought down at the 4-yard line, and a big gainer on the play, 16. And 1st and goal for the Hornets with 42 seconds to go in the half.
Most importantly right there is the clock will stop with a first down, so they can regroup here.
And the clock back rolling at the signal of Doug Hall, the Whitecap tonight. Hornets running this drive nicely. Stork takes a snap, a play action. He's scrambling to the near side. He is wrapped up and secures the football on his way down, a sack. It looked like that was Justin Bream in the backfield taking Stork down. Now 20 seconds to go in the first half. It is 2nd and goal from the 7.
They're going to have to hustle here. 14 seconds and counting.
One final play. Stork looks to the far side of the field, and it is caught, and a Hornets touchdown. Chris Janney on the far side of the field, bringing that one in, and the Hornets score with 5 seconds to go in the first half.
Josh, I have got to say, I am so impressed with this team's 2-minute offense, even going back to last year.
Yes.
At the end of a quarter or a half, or when they need points in a short time, that was an excellent drive. Well managed, and a touchdown result.
Sheen with the extra point. It is good, and the Hornets up 21-0 with 5 seconds to go in the first half. We're going to take a break. We'll come back. We got time for a kick return, and then it's halftime here from Central Point on the campus of Crater High School. The Hornets lead the Comets on 104.3 and 960 Sports.
What, Rod? Great?
Participate.
Where does greatness start? Here, in the classroom. On the stage.
In the pool.
On the field.
Where will your greatness take you?
To better grades.
To more friends.
Yeah! Be great.
Participate.
Well, with 5 seconds to go in the first half, Henley put up 7 more points. They lead 21-0 over Crater. And with 5 seconds to go in this half, Crater will have just about enough time to return this kick and not much else. It was 8 plays, 2 minutes and 15 seconds for the Hornets that led them to a touchdown. Chris Janney with a 7-yard touchdown reception capped off that drive. The kick is up. It's going to bounce around at the 21 and kick past the Crater fielder. He's up now past the 10. The clock has expired, and that will be the first half, although just for the sake of bookkeeping, it was Spencer Bermucci who brought it out to about the 12. We are done with 24 minutes of football tonight from Central Point, Oregon, on the campus of Crater High School at Dutchmeyer Field. The Hornets lead 21-0. We'll be right back. We'll talk about this game. We'll take a look around the state during our halftime show, so stick with us on mybasin.com, also on 104.3 and 960 Sports. The lead the Comets 21-0.
During COVID, I gained over 24 pounds. I lost motivation in working out. I lost motivation in eating healthy. And for me, if I'm not active, I just don't eat well. But then I started taking a class at Harbor's gym called High Low. The first week I felt like I didn't fit in and I couldn't do it. But the instructor was so kind and thanked me for coming and told me how well I did. I was like, no, I wasn't, but it made me come back the next week and the next week. And soon enough, I was keeping up with the class. I started introducing more classes and then going Saturdays. I learned how to lift weights accurately with repetition. I started lifting on my own. I started golfing too with my husband. And all of a sudden, I was buying salads instead of sandwiches. Small victories happened week by week, and it's 100% because of Harbor, their staff, their gym, the golf. My husband is getting out of the house and working out with me. His golf game is increasing, we're lifting together, and we feel good. Harbor, where I lost my reins and got my gains.
To us, pizza the way it ought to be isn't just our slogan. It's our promise and our passion to give you the best dining experience and the best tasting pizza you expect. For over 40 years, we've been making pizza the way it ought to be. Handmade with the freshest and finest ingredients. Our dough is made fresh daily, and we use 100% whole milk mozzarella cheese and toppings edge to edge. There's pizza, and then there's Mountain Mike's Pizza. Pizza the way it ought to be.
Hi, I'm Rob Cedar, General Manager of Clown Falls Honda and Clown Falls Subaru. I've lived here my whole life. Most of our employees have lived here their whole life too. Our sales, service, parts, and body shop teams are all staffed with experienced local folks. You know them and they know you. Our dealerships are comfortable and not corporate. Comfortable means we're focused on you. I'm Rob and I'm glad to know you.
This is where unconditional love and immeasurable happiness reside. This is home. Coltwell Banker, where home begins.
We're at halftime tonight from Crater High School in Central Point as the Hornets are taking on the Comets tonight after a half. Kev, the Hornets up 21-0. What a first half it was on both sides of the football for Henley.
Yeah, I think we're all a little bit surprised. It's kind of the same old thing you always hear, but you just want to get better every game. But Henley's improvement from last week to this week to me just seems outstanding. The line play on both sides has been terrific. Lots of explosion on offense, and just put together a really good first half against a good team on the road.
Well, they always say, what makes a good team and the mark of a really good squad is the biggest improvement you have to make each season is between week 1 and week 2.
Right.
And I think, the Hornets were expected to do a little bit more against Seaside last week. They came away with a 1-point victory. I think it's fair to say that Henley was probably the underdog coming into tonight's matchup, going up a 5-8 team. They're number 8 in the state. And here we are, and it's a 3-score lead in favor of the Hornets. Like I said, I don't think anyone expected it, but hey, we'll take it.
Yeah, I think Henley's if I had to pick one thing, I think it's their confidence. They look, the latter part of this first half, they looked very confident in everything that they did. Even when they turned the ball over or made a mistake or a penalty, they bounced back and they kind of had that short memory that you want to have and go to the next play. They really looked confident and quite mature for a week 2 game.
We'll take a look at what the Hornets did so far in that first half. They began the game explosive, that's to say the least. It took them 3 plays to go 85 yards. And it was a Bennett touchdown catch for that distance. He ran it in across the field, and it was a great play to start the game, put Henley up 7-0. The teams traded a couple turnovers, a fumble recovery. Crater turned the ball over on downs. Logan Whitlock punched in the second touchdown of the game from 15 yards out. Hornets went 6 plays and about 3 minutes on that drive. Call it 2 minutes and 40 seconds. In 6 plays, to score on that drive. Crater turned around, gave the ball back over on downs. Henley coughed up the football twice in the first half on their next 2 drives. Crater had to punt. They also had another turnover on downs, and then that final drive of that half, Henley took the ball 55 yards in 8 plays and 2 minutes and 15 seconds. Kevin, you and I talked a little bit about how good the 2-minute drill looked for Henley last week. It took them 2 minutes 19 seconds to beat Seaside, and to end the first half here was 2 minutes and 21 seconds, and they looked good, and they had no timeouts this time around.
Right, and the whole offensive lineup played terrific, but that's when you really need a guy, and you can use a guy like Shaw Stork running that offense. He seems to not really get affected by the stress of the clock or the situation. He just plays the way you want him to, and he's the perfect leader to have in there when you need him in a hurry.
Both the offense and the defense looked great for the Hornets. They built themselves a 21-0 lead after one half of football here against Crater. We're going to take a break. We're going to come back, and when we do, we'll take a look around the state, tell you what else is happening in the Big Sky Conference. Also back in the Basin, we've got a score for Lost River and Myrtle Point. We'll also remind you about what some of the other squads in the Basin are doing on this Friday evening. That's all coming up as we continue our halftime show on 104.3 and 960 Sports. The Hornets in front of the Comets, 21-0. We'll be back for 3 and 960 Sports.
The road can be a crazy place. Uh-oh! That's why Les Schwab Tires fixes brakes, steering, and more. And those guys don't. Keep driving. I'm just glad Les Schwab puts my safety first, so I can backseat drive with confidence.
Help maximize your mileage with a free safety check. Just swing by. Les Schwab Tires, celebrating 70 years of doing the right thing.
To us, pizza the way it ought to be isn't just our slogan. It's our promise and our passion to give you the best dining experience and the best tasting pizza you expect. For over 40 years, we've been making pizza the way it ought to be. Handmade with the freshest and finest ingredients. Our dough is made fresh daily, and we use 100% whole milk mozzarella cheese and toppings edge to edge. There's pizza, and then there's Mountain Mike's Pizza. Pizza the way it ought to be.
All I do is wait. So lonely, I just sigh and moan. Seems like I've been waiting forever, wondering if you're coming home. I just saw your face, I know you're coming home. I swear there is no place that feels as good as home. And then I heard your voice, I know you're coming home. I know you're coming home.
This is where unconditional love and immeasurable happiness reside. This is home. Coltwell Banker, where home begins.
Threads. There are many threads that run through our region. There are churches and schools and Little League teams that bring us together and bind us into communities. There are roads and cars, there are houses and jobs and businesses, all woven together to make the fabric of our communities. There are financial threads that are part of that tapestry as well. For over 80 years, it's been our pleasure to be headquartered here, providing financial services to generations of our friends and neighbors. From that first savings account, to retirement planning, and all of the cars and houses and groceries in between, we keep your money local, investing it back into our communities, adding more threads to the fabric to make our communities stronger. Pacific Crest Federal Credit Union. Find your path.
It was was 14-8 Myrtle.
And we welcome you back to our halftime show on 104.3 and 960 Sports. If you're watching our video stream on mybasin.com, you see the full moon visible from Crater High School tonight here in Central Point, Oregon, and the trees overshadowing the moon. Kev, I think it's officially fall. It might not be actually, but it's football season. It's cooling down. Full moon is out. It feels like fall tonight, Kev.
You can't help but think fall. Once football starts, it's just, you kind of forget the calendar. And just go with your gut.
Yeah, every day is preparing for Friday or Sunday or Saturday or whatever you fancy when it comes to football season. The Henley Hornets are up 21-0 after a half here at Crater High School. We'll take a look at what else is going on around the state. We'll start with the Big Sky Conference tonight, a full schedule for Big Sky teams. Mazama, and we do have a score update for a couple of these games later on, but we'll just tell you who's playing. Mazama at home against Eagle Point tonight. Klamath Union was supposed to be back at home as well this evening, although they find themselves against Burns at Lakeview tonight as Klamath City School District canceled school today due to the smoke in the basin and the heat. They just decided we'll give the kids a day off, so all athletics in Klamath Falls were canceled for the city schools, but the Pels still over there playing at Lakeview against Burns. Ashland in the Big Sky Conference on the road tonight against North Eugene. North Bend is taking on Willamette on the road tonight. Hidden Valley playing Newport back there in Murphy, and Marshfield playing Cascade. Some of these teams, Kevin, you got Mazama still in the conference. Marshfield, obviously. You look at Ashland and North Bend, some 5A teams playing down in the Big Sky Conference. We've got this week is the final non-conference game. We've got one more later on in the year against Cascade, but it's Ashland next week, and then we're going to the Big Sky Conference. It should be a lot of fun.
It will be. One game tonight I'm kind of looking at. I want to see how it plays out is the Marshfield Cascade.
Absolutely.
Because we have both of those coming up, and it should be a good game.
I would think so. Those two teams are familiar with each other. They used to share a conference until Marshfield came over and joined the Big Sky this year. Really excited to see what Marshfield looks like and maybe get some revenge after that quarterfinal loss last year.
Right.
Look around the Klamath Basin. Bonanza is at home tonight against LC High School. Cross Point taking on Perrydale. And tomorrow, Chiloquin playing Falls City. We do have a score update. Lost River at home taking on Myrtle Point. You said 14-8 in favor of the Raiders?
Yeah, that's the latest update we have in the first quarter. Myrtle Point leads 14-8.
Yeah, I will say just real quickly while we have a second, Lost River last year lost in the semifinal against Adrian. It was about a 38-point loss last week. They came back and they beat the defending state champion in week 1. The Raiders look pretty good down there in the 1A. They're number 3 in the coaches poll, Kev. So we got some talent in the basin.
I was just thinking that earlier. A lot of teams ranked in that top 10 down in the Klamath Basin. A lot of teams last week went north and won. So, yeah, some good football playing down there. Yeah.
Really excited to see how this all plays out. If you take a look at what's going on in college football tomorrow, Oregon taking on Eastern Washington. I'm sure they would like to do to them what Georgia did to the Ducks last weekend. And then Oregon State taking on Fresno State. You got your eye on either of those games, Kev?
I'm interested to see how the Beavers do. The Beavers kind of look extra sharp coming out of the gate, so I'm going to keep an eye on that one. The Ducks should be able to handle their business there.
I think so as well. We're really excited for that. By the way, if you want to tune in to the Oregon State-Fresno State game tomorrow, pregame starts at 5:30 right here on 104.3 and 960 Sports. Your chance to join Mike Parker on the call for that one. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about what we expect to see in the second half as the Hornets lead the Crater Comets 21-0 after 24 minutes of play. We'll continue our coverage of the Hornets when we come back on 104.3 and 960 Sports. We've got HD on mybasin.com.
Sports was kind of what defined me as a person. I loved to play every sport I could possibly play. The Abbeys was really the family stomping ground for all of our community. Saturday afternoon soccer tournaments, we'd head over to Abbeys afterwards. And then when we got up into middle school, on our way home, we'd stop at Abbeys after basketball games. When I go home, I want to see two things when I drive through Winston. I want to see my Abbeys and I want to see my high school. And those are the two memories that stick out the most to me.
The innocence of youth. Is there anything any better? But soon they'll be in high school and facing all the same challenges you faced. How to make friends, how to fit in, how to be cool. We want our children to have everything they'll need to live fulfilling and productive lives. Make sure the kids in your family are among the more than 120,000 participants here in Oregon who take part in high school sports or activities.
Threads. There are many threads that run through our region. There are churches and schools and Little League teams that bring us together and bind us into communities. There are roads and cars, there are houses and jobs and businesses, all woven together to make the fabric of our communities. There are financial threads that are part of that tapestry as well. For over 80 years, it's been our pleasure to be headquartered here, providing financial services to generations of our friends and neighbors. From that first savings account, the retirement planning, and all of the cars and houses and groceries in between, we keep your money local, investing it back into our communities, adding more threads to the fabric to make our communities stronger. Pacific Crest Federal Credit Union. Find your path.
We're back at Crater High School on 104.3 and 960 Sports with HD video on mybasin.com. The Hornets up 21-0 after a half of football. Kev, what should we expect to see from the Hornets coming into this third quarter?
Well, you know, at the end of last week's game, we said Henley's going to need to do a little better than 22. They need to score a few more points because that's the way these games are in the Big Sky, a lot of points. And they've got 21 at half, so that's a great improvement, a great start that they've got things already. So I think they just want to build on that momentum and continue to score. The defense, you just can't say enough, just making good play after good play. And if they can continue to squeeze third and fourth down, long situations out of Crater, I think we'll have good success.
All right, the Hornets lead 21-0 as we enter the third quarter here in just a couple of minutes. One more break on the halftime show, and then we'll be back with the third quarter on 104.3 and 960 Sports. The Hornets ahead of the Comets, 21-0.
During COVID, I gained over 24 pounds. I lost motivation in working out. I lost motivation in eating healthy. And for me, if I'm not active, I just don't eat well. But then I started taking a class at Harbor's gym called High Low. The first week I felt like I didn't fit in and I couldn't do it. But the instructor was so kind and thanked me for coming and told me how well I did. I was like, no, I wasn't, but it made me come back the next week and the next week. And soon enough, I was keeping up with the class. I started introducing more classes and then going Saturdays. I learned how to lift weights accurately with repetition. I started lifting on my own. I started golfing too with my husband. And all of a sudden, I was buying salads instead of sandwiches. Small victories happened week by week, and it's 100% because of Harbor, their staff, their gym, the golf. My husband is getting out of the house and working out with me. His golf game is increasing, we're lifting together, and we feel good. Harbor, where I lost my reins and got my gains.
All right, we welcome you back to Crater High School in Central Point, Oregon for our continuing coverage of the 2022 Henley Hornets football season. Here in week 2, the Hornets ahead of the Comets 21-0. Good evening, everybody. My name is Josh Eldridge. Along with me is Kevin Petrick. We are nearly set for the third quarter of action. The Comets will start with the football, and they find themselves down 3 scores. This Henley defense has done a good job with them so far. Take a look at some of the numbers for Crater. 0 for 5 on third down conversions, 0 for 2 on fourth down conversions. They have had almost no success in those late down scenarios, and this Henley defense has done a great job of getting in the backfield.
Yeah, I don't even know if we had a tackle for loss last week. Not many.
Right.
And there have been quite a few in this game already. So Henley's defense, their line play especially, very good.
All right, well, the Hornets tonight, as we get started for the third quarter, wearing their road uniforms. They look new. Well, new as in we're using them for the second week straight, new to this season. They've got the navy blue helmets with the yellow H on the side, the yellow stripe down the middle, white jerseys with yellow numbering, navy trim, yellow pants, and a navy stripe down the side. For the Crater Comets tonight, white helmets with an orange stripe down the middle with the orange C for the Crater logo, orange jerseys, white numbering with black trim, white pants with an orange stripe and black trim on those pants. As the the Comets will go from right to left across your screen as the special teams units take the field ready for the third quarter of action. I'd like to remind you that this game is brought to you in part by Harbor Isles Tennis and Fitness Club. They've got the most understanding trainers you can ask for. They help you get motivated, and their workouts will make you feel accomplished all day. Harbor Isles Tennis and Fitness wants you to lose those reins and get your gains. All right, as the band plays the Jaws theme music, we're ready for the third quarter. The kick is up. Kick to the near side. It's going to be fielded at about the 10 from Schatt. He's up past the 25, not quite to the 30. Call it the 28-yard line, and that is where Crater will start their first drive of the second half.
Jason Kern with some nice special teams play, making the tackle. And we're going to want to look at the adjustments made by both teams. We only have one game to refer to this season, but Henley was superb last week at making adjustments in the second half. We'll see what Crater does a little differently, and we'll see what the Hornets do as well.
1st and 10 from the Crater 28. Again, the Comets going from right to left across your radio dial, and if you're listening on the radio, find us at mybasin.com for free live video. All right, Shane Wood in the backfield. He's going to hand that one off to Kelly, who trudges forward. He's been wrapped up for 5 yards, but he keeps on moving, and a solid gain of about 7 on the play, and he took some Hornets defenders for a ride on that one.
He did. Owen Northcutt had him right at the line of scrimmage, but a little bit too much leg drive there, and he gave Owen a little ride before he came down.
So call it 2nd down and about 5. Is Shane Wood back there with Kelly. 3 wide receivers out to the far side, 1 to the near side. Wood takes a snap, drops back into the pocket, unleashes one down the far side, and it is incomplete. One heck of a throw, but that one bounces just in front of, I believe that was Shat, the intended receiver.
That was a nice throw. That was a big-time quarterback throw. He put that on a line between 2 defenders and was trying to lead his receiver. If he would have made the catch, he probably would have scored, just a little too far.
It'll bring up 3rd and 5 for the Comets. 0 for 5 on 3rd down conversions tonight. Wood drops back into the pocket, feels some pressure, dumps it off to Kelly, and a screen pass and stopped in the backfield. Kelly is upset as he lost a few on the play. That'll bring up 4th and 8.
Logan Whitlock put the hammer.
Yes, he did.
On that receiver. Credit the line, though. Good pressure on the quarterback. Forced him to throw that ball right into the middle where Logan was able to make the stop. And another 4th and long. Possible punt situation.
And it looks like Crater is content to punt here, as that makes them 0 for 6 on 3rd down tonight. 3 and out for the Comets. The punt is up from the 20. It's a high punt. It's going to kick around at the 50, and it bounced off the head of a Hornets player, and it's picked up by Whitlock. He's coming along the near sideline. He's got room up past the 30, the 25, 20, 15, 10, 5, and he gets it knocked loose at the goal line. He is taken down at the 1. Oh, man, that was almost a return for a touchdown, but the ball got knocked out of his hands at the goal line.
This is going to be that rule that none of us really like. If Logan fumbled the ball from the playing field out of bounds through the end zone, the ball will go to Crater, and they're talking about it right now.
So they're saying that the ball got knocked out of his hands at the 1, rolled through the end zone and out of bounds, and that would mean Crater football.
It would. After all that great play by Logan there, the ball was touched by a Hornet on the punt. He had the wherewithal to see it, pick it up, make a nice sprint to the outside, got just inches from the goal line. The ball popped loose, and now we'll see who retains possession. That's the rule. A lot of people feel like the ball should come back to the offense if they fumble out of bounds, but when it goes out of the end zone, the rules change.
That is a strange rule for sure. I mean, it would make sense for that ball if he dropped it at the 1 to just be down at the 1.
That's what you would think.
You don't fumble the ball forward necessarily, especially into the end zone, so kind of a strange idea there. So the officiating crew having a discussion about it. The officiating crew led by Doug Hall, Jake Klecker, Brian Young, Alex Schoenhard, and Christian Siqueiros.
They're going to have to decide, most importantly, whether he broke the plane while he had possession. It's either a touchdown.
To me, again, we're at a tough angle. We're removed, and, frankly, we're a little biased. To me, it looked like Whitlock might have gotten in, but the near line judge said that it was at the 1, so it looks like this one might be coming out to the 20, which would mean no score and Crater football.
That's just a very odd play. Hornets just inches away from a 28-point lead.
And you can see Doug Hall along the near sideline explaining the ruling to Coach Alex Stork. And, yeah, I mean, I would need some explanation, too. If that's in the rule book, that's how it goes. It was a 50-50 play, this one going the way of the Comets. You're going to get a couple of those in the game. No use arguing it. That was a great play by Whitlock. It just didn't end up breaking the way of the Hornets. And they're taking this one out a little bit longer, or are they?
Well, I don't know. Let's see what.
Are they marking it down where the kick was fielded? So for those of you listening, they marked it at the Crater 39. If I remember correctly, the ball bounced off a Hornets player head right around the 50.
Yeah,
so
I don't know why the ball's at the 39. So you got me on this one.
Yeah, this is definitely strange. They're switching out game balls, and they got this one from the Crater sideline. And the Henley defense is out there. Are they redoing the punt? It looks like it's 4th down again.
Yeah.
So maybe they decided that they didn't know and were doing it again. That looks like it could be the call. It's 4th and 9 again. But they also moved the ball up 20 yards from where it was previously. They're at the 39 now, and they were right around the 20.
Josh?
Yes.
I'm not having a good night.
I'm just not sure of the official ruling here.
I'm not sure either what happened.
Okay, now they're bringing the sticks back again. They're moving the football.
Okay.
Well, as the officials try to find out what's happening and we cue the Benny Hall theme, we're going to find out that this game is brought to you by Klamath Falls Subaru. Through the Subaru Love Promise and Subaru Share the Love events, Klamath Falls Subaru has donated thousands of dollars to dozens of hometown charities. Comfortable and not corporate. At Klamath Falls Subaru, stop by and say hi. Well, it looks like we're redoing the punt. So, here we go. 4th and 9. Crater is going to punt the ball again. The kick is up from the 19, another high kick. This one is going to be called for a fair catch right around the 35-yard line. And that is where Henley will start the ball in their, or start the drive in their own territory. Well, we're back to playing football, Kev.
That was interesting.
Yes, it was.
Luke Bennett, it's nice having him back there. He's very sure-handed on those punts. Made a nice fair catch. And Henley will take over with about 10 minutes to go here in the 3rd quarter.
I'd like to remind you also that this game is brought to you by Mountain Mike's Pizza. Refuel after the game at Mountain Mike's Pizza. You've earned a pizza made with 100% whole milk mozzarella and toppings piled so high that you'll need a mountain guide to reach the top. Mountain Mike's Pizza on Washburn near Walmart Shopping Center. Mountain Mike's Pizza. Pizza the way it ought to be. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Hornets from their own 35. And Shaw Stork with 2 wide receivers set out to either side and Whitlock off to his left. This is going to be a handoff to Whitlock. He finds a bit of room up the middle. Is still going and brought down after a strong run of about 6 yards. It'll bring up 2nd down.
You know, one of the best gifts that a back can have is take a run that looks like nothing and turn it into 6 or 7 yards. And
right.
that's what happened there. He was kind of clogged up in the middle. He just took his time, found his spot, made a nice gain.
21-0 Hornets with 9:40 to go in the 3rd. And they've got possession of the football. It'll be 2nd and 4. This one, another handoff to Whitlock, has a little bit of room, is brought down after a gain of about 5, and that'll be a Hornets 1st down, their 1st of this half, 8th for the ball game.
Yeah, that was just good old-fashioned, good line push that time by the Hornets. Good play on that offensive line, picking up the 1st down.
And Coach Paggi calling out the offense as the Hornets look to the sideline. Interesting with the no huddle, and I like it. They get to the line a little bit quicker.
Yeah, I like it too. Keeps the other team on edge a little bit.
3 receivers to the near side and a handoff to Whitlock to the near side. He's got some blockers. He's up past the 50, now up past the 45, gets to the 40, cutting it across the field, up down to the 35 before being brought down. That's a big gain on the play of about 20 yards.
Whitlock not afraid to spin or change directions, and he did both on that one. Another nice run, and Henley's just running the ball here, just methodically, taking their time, getting their play, and executing.
1st and 10 now into Crater territory. Driving downfield are the Hornets as it's 1st and 10 from the Crater 35-yard line. Stork calls for the snap, takes it, looks left for the screen pass, is going to dump it off to Bennett along the far side. And gain of about 3 on the play, maybe 4. It'll bring up 2nd down.
That's a nice way to mix it up. Throw in a little pass play. Keep the defense guessing. I'm seeing a lot of hands on hips on the defensive side. We talked about the heat early. Maybe kids getting a little tired here in the 2nd half.
About 72 degrees here in Central Point, as it'll be a play action pass down to the near side. Intended target was Tyler Harper, but the pass falls incomplete. Third down and about 6 to go for the Hornets.
Pass thrown just a little too tall for Tyler, but probably a good place to throw it. He was pretty well covered out there. Good decision.
Hornets are 2 for 3 on third down attempts tonight. This will be their first go at it here in the second half. 8:02 to go in the third, and the Hornets up 21-0. Two receivers to either side of Stork, with Whitlock in the backfield off to his left. This is going to be a play-action pass again. Stork pump fakes, has to scramble around to his left, feels the pressure, unloads one downfield. It's caught at the 20, inside the 15, now the 10, the 5, and brought down at the 3. Find out who that was. It looked like it was Luke Bennett along the far sideline.
It was Bennett, and that's become a real nice connection to Stork-Bennett, their connection. Good pass. Shaw made a nice play getting out of a tackle. Spun around, bought himself some time. Bennett stayed on his route. Excellent completion. First and goal.
From the 5, that's where they mark it down, as Bennett must have stepped out of bounds a little bit early before being brought down. Either way, first and goal for the Hornets. Harper in a bit of motion, shuffling a couple steps to his left. This is going to be a handoff to Whitlock. He's got some room. He hasn't been touched, and he finds pay dirt. Touchdown, Hornets.
Nice line blocking up front. On that particular play, Whitlock he didn't waste any time. He had a full head of steam going north-south and easily picked up the touchdown.
Whitlock's second touchdown of the night, his 4th touchdown of the year, and the Henley Hornets lead 27-0 here against Crater. And they are going to kick the extra point. Owen Sheen to do the honors. He is 3 for 3 tonight. The kick is up, and it is good. The Henley Hornets have built themselves a 28-0 lead over Crater with 7:49 to go in the third quarter. We'll be back on 104.3 and 9.6 Sports.
Oregon men and women basketball season tickets are on sale now, starting at just $75 for 30 games. Come help us celebrate our 75th anniversary and cheer on the Hustlin' Owls. Reserved season seats start at $175. And our all-new Family Pass gets a family of 4 in on the action starting at just $200. Go to OregonTechOwls.com/tickets to order. We will see you at Danny Miles Court.
You have a Myrtle Point if you want it.
1 second. All right, we are back on 104.3 and 960 Sports, and Henley leads here 28-0 against Crater. And Kev, you were telling me you've got a Lost River score update.
We have an updated halftime. Lost River leads Myrtle Point 30-14.
Love that for the Raiders. They are ranked 3rd in the state at the 1A 8-man level. 1A has created a 6-man division this year. The OSCA really reworked a lot of their classifications over the spring. Obviously, the newly founded Big Sky Conference in the 4A, and they made some changes down at the 1A level. Yeah. Lost River played 8-man last year, I believe, for the first year,
right,
and is now playing 8-man again this season.
They have a good club.
All right, back into this game here at Crater High School. The Hornets lead 28-0. They put together a 7-play drive lasting 2 minutes and 10 seconds, capped off with a Logan Whitlock 5-yard touchdown. The kick is up to Crater. It's going to bounce at the 15, fielded at the 10. Brought up along the far sideline, up past the 20, not quite to the 25. Crater will start this possession at the 23-yard line.
I think that was Cooper Grow with a tackle. And I'm impressed with Henley's special teams as well. Very sure-handed tackling, not a lot of sloppy tackles and, unneeded yards down the field. Really good stops.
Crater already had one possession in this half. It was a quick 3-and-out for the Comets. They have not had a lot of luck on offense, but that is credit to this Henley defense, which has been flying around tonight. 2 receivers set out to the near side for Crater. As they get the call in from the sideline, coming in with it was Caden Gardner. The snap and a handoff to Kelly up the middle, and he is stuffed for no gain on the play. 2nd and 10.
Jason Kern on the tackle again. Called his name a couple of times. This Henley defense has done so well on third down tonight. Just really making key stops to get the football back.
So call it a 1-yard gain on that previous play, brings up 2nd and 9. A long 9 at that. Wood takes the snap, drops back into the pocket, looks over to his right side, unleashes one downfield, and it is broken up. Intended target for Crater was Scott Price.
Nicely defended by the Hornets. Owen Sheen was on the coverage. And Luke Bennett was kind of playing center field there, saw the throw and had time to go over and knock it away. That's exactly what you want.
This Hornets secondary has been attached to the hip of every receiver tonight, it feels like.
They've been very good. And that whole group they're mostly veteran players from last year. So they are talented back there.
3rd and a long 9 coming up for Crater. 0 for 6 tonight on such attempts. Wood with the snap, looking to the near side, fires one over the middle, and the pass is going to be caught by Scott Price.
It's really
short.
Close.
It looks short to me. No, they're giving it to him.
It was really close.
If just by the tip of the football. 1st and 10. First third down conversion of the night for Crater, and their 4th first down of the night.
Good play by Crater to convert that. Found the receiver just far enough downfield to complete the pass.
6.5 to go in the third quarter, and Henley leads 28-0 on the road here at Crater High School in Central Point. Wood back there with his running back, Kelly. 1 receiver to the near side, 3 to the far side. It's a screen pass dumped off to Daniels, and it is incomplete.
That was dangerous. That ball was thrown backwards, which means it's a live ball, but it did roll out of bounds. But the ball will travel back and be spotted for a big loss.
Yeah, good eye on that backwards kind of pass there. You're right. It was not a forward pass, so you said live ball. It's a loss. Big loss on the play, with the yard to gain being the 44. This will be 2nd down from the 23. So, long way to go for Crater. Three receivers to the near side for the Comets, 1 off to the right. Wood feeling pressure, rolling out to his right. Fires one downfield, and it is incomplete. Intended target was Spencer Bramucci at about the 40-yard line on the other side of midfield.
That was the same group over there.
It's interesting to see this Crater offense continue to go for these deep passes when they haven't had a lot of luck, but these short passes they've been pretty successful with.
That's true. They have connected on the short ones. I think they feel the long balls there. They want to go up top. Of course, they do trail by 4 touchdowns. They're probably a little bit desperate for some points. But you're right. They haven't had much luck at all throwing down the field.
28-0 the score with 6 minutes to go in the third, and 3rd down and long for Crater. Wood is going to keep this one, fires it across the field. It's dropped, almost intercepted at midfield. But
Mark Carpenter there, he had good coverage on that last play, and he had his hands all over that one in the middle of the field and just couldn't hang on for the interception.
Heartbreaker for Carpenter there, the sophomore for the Hornets. Did break up the play and create 4th and very long. The Comets will be forced to punt yet again. 1 for 8 on 3rd down conversions tonight after that failed attempt for Crater.
Very nice defensive work all night.
The kick from the 10 is a boom of a kick. Bounces around at the 45 on the other side of the field. That's a big punt. And looked like it bounced out of bounds. We'll see exactly where they spot this as the Hornets get ready to take the field for the 2nd time this half. The first one, Kev, converted into 7 points.
Yes, very nice offensive possession last time. That was a nice kick. That you want to tell your kicker if you can somehow aim it right to the sideline so there's no return. And that ball just hit right on the sideline. And pretty nice punt, putting Henley back on their own side of the field.
They're marking it right at the 45-yard line on the Henley side of the field, so fairly decent starting field position, better than what they started with before. In fact, 10 yards better. So they started at their 35 last time, now 45 with 5:55 to go in the third quarter, and the Hornets leading by 4 touchdowns, 28-0. Man in motion. Stork is going to hand it off to Whitlock up the middle. A jumble of bodies and a gain of 2 for the young running back.
Henley feeling confident enough to just run straight ahead if they need to. They'll kind of set up a little pass to the outside or maybe a sweep.
Owen Sheen to the near side, along with Tyler Harper and Chris Janney. Luke Bennett to his lonesome on the left side of the field. Whitlock off the left side of Stork. Quick pass to Bennett was incomplete. And so it'll be 3rd down and 9 on the way.
That was a strange play. That the defender didn't even really know the ball was being thrown, yet he was in between the receiver and the quarterback, and the ball just kind of fell to the ground. So 3rd down situation for Henley.
Henley tonight on 3rd down is 2 for 3. They have yet to really be faced with that situation. Pardon me, they're 1 for 1 in this half, so that makes them 3 for 4 on the night. 3rd and long. Stork drops back to pass, feels the pressure, trying to roll out to his left, fires one downfield. The pass is incomplete. That would have been a big completion. Looked like Chris Janney was the intended target downfield, but that brings up 4th.
You know, Shaw once again evaded some defenders, made some time for himself, and then he kind of did the arm wave like go, go, go. And there were 3 defenders down there, and Shaw put it right on the money. So
yes, he did.
It was a really nice throw. It was hard to catch in all that traffic, so no fault there, but just a good effort on 3rd and long.
5:09 to go in the third. Henley up 28-0, forced to punt after that failed 3rd down conversion. And so it'll be Stork to do the honors. Price back to receive the punt for Crater. A high punt from Stork into the night sky. Fair catch called as the ball bounces around and is going to be downed at the 21.5-yard line. Crater takes over with just under 5 minutes to go in the third, down 4 touchdowns.
We're in a place in the game now where Henley can play field position. They're up 28. All they need to do is just keep playing good defense, keep moving the football, and they'll be in good shape.
And while the teams switch sides, I do want to talk about Stork for just a second. One of the things last year was his ability to throw the football. We kind of talked about a lot. He's moving out of the pocket. He's been really mobile this game and has added some real strength and accuracy to his arm in these first couple of weeks.
Yeah, he's throwing the ball very well tonight. I agree. Really taking command of that offense.
It'll be 1st and 10 at the Crater 21-yard line. Wood takes the snap, couldn't hold on to it right away, fires a pass. It's complete for a gain of about 5 yards. The receiver on the play, Spencer Bramucci, and good job by Wood to stick with that play after kind of fumbling the snap there for a second.
That was a cool play. He ended up throwing that kind of underhand.
Yeah.
Owen Northcutt provided a lot of pressure, and he was forced to kind of chuck it under there. Pretty nice little pass.
I like your reenactment going on up here in the bleachers. It will be 2nd and 5 for the Comets. Wood going to hand this one off to Kelly, coming to the near side. He is tripped up and gets back to the original line of scrimmage.
You know, he wasn't touched by anyone. He just went to the ground. He either has a cramp or
it looks like he's got a cramp. He kicked his legs up in the air.
Yep, that was very strange because he was coming around the corner. He had a lot of room, and he just went down. So looked like maybe a calf cramp. And
well, the trainers out there, there's timeout on the field, will remind you that this game is brought to you in part by Les Schwab Tires. Having the right set of tires and wheels on your vehicle is just part of an essential safety checklist. That's why Les Schwab does more than install just tires and wheels. Come on in for a free pre-trip safety check. They're going to make sure that everything's in working order at Les Schwab Tires. They've got 3 locations in the Basin, one on Washburn Way, one on South 6th Street, and one in Merrill. Les Schwab Tires has been doing the right thing since 1952. Also thanks to Abby's Legendary Pizza. If you're looking for a great place to eat, head to one of Abby's Legendary Pizza locations for some of the best pizza in the Klamath Basin at 1919 Austin Street or 2226 Shalleck Street near OIT. Abby's Legendary Pizza is a proud supporter of high school athletics, and they're stretching Kelly out down there on the field. When we come back, it'll be 3rd down and about 5 to go for Crater. Kev Henley has really handled this ball game nicely, 28-0 with 4:15 to go in the 3rd. They look pretty solid in this game. Like you said, they're in a position where they can start to play the clock a little bit, but the field position game is going to be important for them.
Right, and coming up, we have another 3rd down, 3rd and about 5, and Henley's just been extremely successful on 3rd down defensively, really doing a nice job. So we'll see if they can end this drive once this player is feeling a little bit better. Is there anything worse than a cramp?
Right, yeah, it's the worst.
I mean, for being a minor injury,
yeah,
it's smarts.
It's the worst. It's the worst. Bringing back to football for a second, coming into this season, Kev, for the Hornets, I think there was almost no question surrounding this offense. You know, you had Stork coming back, Sheen, Harper. These guys know what they're doing on the offensive end. Some questions surrounded this defense coming into the year, and one of the big things that this team talked about was discipline on the defensive end. I think, you know, coming into this game for us, we talked about what version of the Henley defense we'd see. Would it be the sort of undisciplined, feeling out kind of defense that we saw in the first half against Seaside, or would it be a good disciplined front and strong defense that we saw in the second half against Seaside? They've shut out Crater through about 2.5 quarters. I feel like this defense has shown a lot of growth just from week 1 to 2.
Yeah, I totally agree with you that when you watch this defensive line, if you just keep your eye on them, they're really good. Discipline's a good word. They are pushing forward. They're getting good line surge, and they're keeping their ends where they should be so that the play doesn't come outside. They're doing a really nice job.
Kelly coming off the field. He is walking. He looks okay. So we'll see if he returns into the ball game. Coming in for him, we'll try to get who the new running back is. It looks like it's going to be Chenoweth. Aiden Chenoweth, the senior, 5'10", 165 pounds in the backfield, replacing Kelly as we get started. 3rd quarter, Henley leads 28-0, 4:15 to go. It's 3rd and 5 for the Comets. Wood takes the snap, play action pass, slant route connected with Bermucci, and a gain of 7, good enough for Comets' 1st down.
That's 2 in a row for Crater on 3rd, where they've just thrown a little pass in the middle, just long enough to pick up a 1st down. And they'll get to keep the ball.
1st and 10. It'll be from their own 34-yard line as Crater drives from right to left. Wood in the backfield with Chenoweth. Try to get him on the hard count. Now the snap. Wood drops back into the pocket. Fire over the middle, and it's intercepted. Bringing it back to the 40. And a late flag thrown at about midfield. I didn't quite see who made that
was Owen
catch.
Sheen.
Owen Sheen.
Yes, and he just caught the ball, was deflected. No fault in that pass. Beautiful pass down the middle. The Crater receiver just couldn't hang on. It popped up, and Owen came down with it. I'm not sure what the flag was. It was very late.
It looks like it's going against the Hornets. I didn't quite get the signal.
Unsportsmanlike,
maybe
perhaps.
So late after the play, maybe something was said. Unsure. Yeah. Hate to see those. Saw it a couple times last week, but it'll still be a turnover. That still stands as the Hornets create their first turnover tonight in terms of forcing the turnover against Crater.
Another good play off of a deflection. Henley's had a few of those already. And it's important not to quit on the play. When the ball's deflected, you still have to maintain concentration. And we've done that a few times with interceptions or fumbles or other plays of that nature. Play to the whistle, and Owen got himself an interception there.
Henley takes over at their own 45-yard line with 3:30 to go in the 3rd quarter. 28-0 they lead against the 5A Crater Comets. Crater ranked 7th in the 5A. Henley ranked 8th in the 4A. Stork rolling out to the near side. He's got a receiver downfield. Owen Sheen is going to catch that one at the 25 and bring it up to the 20. Owen Sheen with a great catch.
What a throw. What a catch. That was just a sideline route. And Stork just had to put it in one spot over his shoulder. Protected from the defense. He did just that for a long completion. Passing game looking really sharp.
Absolutely. 1st and 10, Hornets from the Crater 20. Way to flip field position. That is a 25-yard gain. Pardon me, a 35-yard gain. Stork handing that one off to Whitlock, coming to the near sideline, gets tripped up at the 20, tries to switch which way he's going, breaks a tackle, cuts upfield, and turns that one into a 5-yard gain, maybe 6 yards. And Logan Whitlock was wrapped up in the backfield, kept those legs moving, and turned that into 6.
I think he made 5 people miss on that one.
Yeah, he's crafty.
And that's what you want to see, even though that was just a 5-yard gain. Those are important plays. You take a loss, turn it into a positive. Nicely done.
2nd and about 4, maybe a long 4. Yard to gain is the Crater 10. Receivers bunched up near the line of scrimmage. Stork is going to take it on the keeper, coming to the near side. He is knocked down at the 12. So short of the first down, it'll bring up 3rd and 2.
Not much room over there. He was able to dive forward for a little bit of a positive gain. And it'll be 3rd and about 2 or 3.
2:05 and counting in the 3rd quarter. Henley leads 28-0, and in the red zone now, a chance to convert a few more points. They've had great efficiency tonight in this part of the ball field. So 3rd and short on the way from the Crater 13. Stork takes the snap, a handoff to Whitlock, who's now inside the 10, has some room at the 5, dives into the end zone, and a Henley touchdown.
What a run, right up the middle. Everybody put a hat on somebody, blocked them through it, and Whitlock with the touchdown.
From 13 yards out, Whitlock cashed in for the 3rd time tonight. Now we await the extra point. Sheen is perfect so far this evening. See if he can make it 5 for 5. The kick is up, and it is good. The Henley Hornets have come out and built a 35-0 lead over 5A's number 7 team, the Crater Comets. Boy, they look good. Henley Hornets taking that one to the house, 55 yards. It took them 5 plays. Capped it off with Whitlock's 3rd touchdown tonight from 13 yards out.
The offense is just looking mid-season form in week 2.
Yes, they are.
Really, really looking good tonight. You really can't ask for any more in a game like this on the road against a good team. Henley's putting it all together.
35-0 in the 3rd quarter, $1:40 to go in this period. And we'd like to remind you that this game is brought to you by Pacific Crest Federal Credit Union. Picking the right path can make the journey easier, the distance shorter, and can assure that you end up at the right place. Whether you're dreaming of owning a home or you just want a great checking account, Pacific Crest Federal Credit Union can help you reach your goals. 35-0 and the Hornets lead. Minute 40 to go in the 3rd. They've looked good here on the road. And trying to close this one out and grab a week 2 victory. Still some football left to be played. And Crater will get the ball back. They have yet to punch it in. They've only got 5 first downs on the evening. The kick from Sheen is up. That's a big kick. It is fielded at the 5 by Daniels. He takes it up past the 20, across the far side of the field, brought down at the 25, and that is where Crater will start possession.
Chris Janney makes the stop, and there is a penalty flag.
So we'll see where this is at the site of the tackle, right next to the player who's down there on the field. Looks to be working out another cramp. But we'll see what the call ends up being. This one's looking like it's probably going to be against the Hornets, the way the officials are acting. There's a good return, about a 20-yard return on the play by Daniels for Crater. And now we just have to find out what the call is, as the ball was brought up to the 40. So 15-yard penalty.
He might have got a hold of the face mask on the tackle. Is that what the call was?
Yep, that was the call. So face masking against the Hornets brings it up to the 40. So Crater still in their own territory to begin this drive with a minute 20 to go in the third quarter. And with Henley building a 35-point lead, a running clock in this third quarter. It is a handoff to the near side. Chugging upfield was Kenowith, and he's got himself an 11-yard gain and a first down.
He has speed. We saw him on defense earlier, so we know he's a quick little runner. And he's getting some chances to carry the ball here.
It'll be 1st and 10 from the Henley 49-yard line, as Crater driving downfield in plus territory. Clock continues to roll, under 30 seconds now to go in the third. Henley up 35-0. A play action pass. It's completed to Schatz on the near side. He cuts upfield. He's got a bit of room and completes it for a 13-yard gain. First down, Comets.
Comets with a couple of nice plays in a row.
And looking out there, I see some of the a couple of replacement players out there for Henley as we end the third quarter. We'll try to get you the defense when we come back, as we are ready for the fourth quarter of action on 104.3 and 960 Sports. The Henley Hornets commanding this ball game, up 35-0 against the Crater Comets. We'll be back as we continue our coverage of Henley football on 104.3 960 Sports.
Threads. There are many threads that run through our region. There are churches and schools and Little League teams that bring us together and bind us into communities. There are roads and cars, there are houses and jobs and businesses, all woven together to make the fabric of our communities. There are financial threads that are part of that tapestry as well. For over 80 years, it's been our pleasure to be headquartered here, providing financial services to generations of our friends and neighbors. From that first savings account, to retirement planning, and all of the cars and houses and groceries in between, we keep your money local, investing it back into our communities, adding more threads to the fabric to make our communities stronger. Pacific Crest Federal Credit Union. Find your path.
Have some confidence. You're doing great. Well, we are ready for the fourth quarter of action from Central Point tonight. It's a play action pass to begin things here in the fourth quarter. Wood scrambling after the play action and brought down. A gain of 1 on the play. And with Henley leading 35-0 here in the fourth quarter, worth noting that it is a running clock now, so the clock will only stop at a change of possession and a touchdown, and there's one other scenario I'm forgetting, but I believe that is it, an official timeout, but the clock is rolling tonight.
We're also seeing a lot of substitute players for both teams.
Absolutely.
Probably the last we've seen of Shaw Stork and some of the other players as well, so we'll try to get those new players in the lineup for you. Get some important reps for some backup players tonight.
Wood going to hand it off to Chenoweth. He's chugging up the far side, up past the 25, brought down at the 24 along the far sideline. And we'll see if he gets the first down, and he does. So a first down for the Comets. They are putting together a nice little drive here, although it might be too little too late, with Henley up 35-0 and 10:45 to go in the ball game. I believe I see Wyatt Fussell out there, the junior, 6'1".
I think I saw Braden Morris too in on that tackle.
A high snap. It's collected by Wood, but now a broken play. He's going to fire towards the end zone, and no one's home. Incomplete pass, but again, the clock will continue rolling as Henley's up 35-0. I'm also seeing, I believe that's Thomas Baki coming in, junior, 6'2".
Mm-hmm.
And I also see Nolan Northcutt out there on the defensive end.
That was a good play by the quarterback just to catch that snap. It was way high. And then he had the wherewithal to just throw it away, not take a big loss.
1st and 10 from the Henley 24. Wood dropping back, dumps off the screen pass. It is incomplete. The intended target was the running back, Chenoweth. And some new players coming in for the Hornets. Emiliano Ortiz coming in. Let's see, you've got
Caleb Swanson-Utley's out there. See him playing on the line.
I believe I see Matt Iverson out there, the junior 6'1" up there on the front. I think that's him. It's 3rd down. And 10 to go for Crater. Play action pass, Wood in the pocket, fires across the middle of the field, and the pass is complete to Crater's number 11, Jaden Andre, the senior 5'9". A completion of 9 yards brings up 4th and 1.
Wyatt Fussell for the Hornets on the coverage, and he made the tackle.
Clock continuing to roll, 8.5 to go in the ball game. Henley up 35-0, and when time expires, we'll try our best to talk with Logan Whitlock after the game. As Wood takes the snap, hands it off to Chenoweth, who dives forward on the 4th down. They're going to give it to him, a 4th down conversion for the Comets. They are now 1 for 3 in that category. A good job by the senior Chenoweth to come up and make the play.
Owen Sheen made a nice tackle, being aggressive from his defensive backfield spot. Not quite enough to stop the 1st down carry.
1st and 10 from the Henley 13-yard line. Wood, the snap, dropping back into the pocket. Moving up a couple steps, feels some pressure to his right, now rolling out to his left and brought down. A sack for this Henley defense.
Matt Iverson with the pursuit. He was way behind the play, made up a lot of ground. Made the tackle.
Checking into the game, number 33 for the Hornets. Don't have that on the roster, but some substitution players coming in for Henley and some varsity guys sticking out there to provide a veteran presence, I'm sure, as it'll be 2nd and about 17. From the Henley 22. Timeout is called by Crater with 6:48 to go in this 4th quarter. Henley up 35-0, and we'll remind you that this game is brought to you in part by Harbor Isles Tennis and Fitness Club. Harbor Isles Tennis and Fitness have the most understanding trainers that you could ask for. They help you get motivated, and their workouts will make you feel accomplished all day. Harbor Isles Tennis and Fitness wants you to lose those reins and get your gains. Well, Kevin, 6:48 to go in the ball game. Henley up by 5 touchdowns. This game, as the substitutions come in, is looking like it's going to end in favor of the Hornets, and you can look ahead a little bit to next week against Ashland, a team that will start Big Sky Conference play with us.
Yeah, we haven't really seen Ashland.
Saw them last year at the beginning of the season, I think in week 1. We got smoked out, moved to Willamette.
Right, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right, we did see them there. And they were young then, so they'll be a couple years better, for sure.
Hand off to Chenoweth. He gets wrapped up in the backfield, and the ball pops loose, and the Hornets fall on it. Another fumble recovery, 3rd one of the game, and the Hornets take possession with 6.5 to go.
I think Norland Northcutt came up with the football. And Matt Iverson knocked it loose. Couple of good individual plays right there, giving Henley the football back with about 6 minutes to play. Henley getting some good play from some of their newer additions here in this fourth quarter.
Important, you see some of these younger guys get some varsity reps even in a game that has been decided. You still get to make these plays, and you're lining up, you're running the plays. It's a good experience even with the game but pretty much decided.
Yeah, you can't replicate this in practice. You know, these are great reps for these kids to get.
Henley takes over, under 6 to go now in the fourth quarter. They're up 35-0. And a new offense coming out for the Hornets. We'll try to get you the guys on the field as best we can. It looks like Bryson Montag, the sophomore, 5'11", getting some reps in at quarterback. I also see Cole Davis out there as the running back. I'm looking at wide receiver Wyatt Fussell. Checking into the game just now was Cooper Groh on the offensive line. Some new faces out there for Henley as Matthew McCoy trots off the field.
Well, that starting group can feel very proud of their game tonight. Played very well.
5 minutes to go, and Henley up 35-0. That's a handoff up the middle. A small gain brings up 3rd and 9. And I believe that's Jason Kern on the carry at the running back spot.
He's made some good plays tonight defensively. Gain a chance to play a little offense.
Kern, the sophomore, 5'6", 145 pounds. Two receivers set to the near side of Montag. One to the far side. Quick pass is going to end up incomplete. And that'll bring up 4th in the punting unit.
Montag looking for Cohen Redmond on that one. Just bounced out of play. And we'll see a punt.
Well, we haven't quite seen the last of Shaw Stork as he is the punter for the Hornets. He's got quite a boot on him this year.
Yeah, I didn't realize coming into this year that he would be the kicker, but he does a nice job. And it's always nice having him back there in case you want to fake one or throw from that position. You can do quite a bit, so good having him back there.
The kick from Stork is high, and it's going to rattle around at the 40, kick up to the 30 on the other side of midfield, and it's going to be downed by a Hornets player. Crater will take over with 3:27 to go in the ball game.
That was a big league roll. That's what you want right there. It rolled about 20 yards.
Yes, sir.
That's nice.
He put a nice bit of spin on that one as the clock continues to roll with Henley up 35-0. Kev, they've looked real good tonight. Going to come away with the win here. And against one of 5A's top teams, man, this is a real confidence builder for Henley.
Absolutely, and confidence is the word I used earlier. I think that was the key tonight. That just with every snap, they just look better and better and more sure of themselves. And you know, when you have high expectations coming into a season, both individually for some of the players and as a team, sometimes it's hard to reach that bar, but this is what we're talking about. Explosive scoring, solid defense, and this is Henley's goal. In this game, they played just about as well as you can play it.
Crater will take over, 2.5 to go in the ball game. They're down 35-0. It's going to be a handoff, some room up the middle. Brought up to the 40, call it a gain of 12 and a Crater first down.
I think we saw Kern in there again. He has a good sense for the football. He's always around the ball.
Also lining up, I see Kyle Nichols playing some corner, it looks like. The junior, 5'8", getting some reps. New quarterback in the game for Crater as well is going to be Ben Higginson. So it'll be a gain of 5 or 6. So we're inside 2 minutes now before the final buzzer, and Henley leads 35-0. Pretty much all the starters out of the game at this point as the coaches take off their headset. And the Hornets sideline can begin to celebrate just a little bit.
Thomas Bakke made that tackle. He had a hold of that ankle and was not letting go. Well done.
Again, the new Crater quarterback, Higginson, takes the snap. Looks to be a keeper designed for him. He's cutting upfield. He's up past the 50 before breaking the 45. He's brought down. That'll be a first down for Crater. This second string for Crater has put together a nice few plays, a nice drive last time. They lost it on a turnover on downs, but or pardon me, a fumble, but they've looked decent here coming out late in the fourth quarter as well. Under a minute now to go. Henley up by 5 touchdowns. The snap, the handoff to Kenowith up the middle. No, pardon me, a new man carrying the football. I think that was Dimitri Hime, the senior, 5'7".
Baki, another tackle. I like the body language of this group. They're excited to play. Probably get 1 or 2 more snaps before this game is concluded.
Across the 20-second marker. The snap, it's going to be a keeper for Higginson. He's got a bit of room. He's up past the 30, inside the 25, and wrestled down at the 19. A good gain there for the Crater sophomore. 6'1", 185 pounds. But that will be the final play of the game. The Henley Hornets with a 35-0 victory over the Crater Comets. And we're going to talk to Logan Whitlock, the Mountain Mike's player of the game, when we come back as the Hornets taking care of the Comets 35-0 on 104.3 and 960 Sports.
During COVID, I gained over 24 pounds. I lost motivation in working out. I lost motivation in eating healthy. And for me, if I'm not active, I just don't eat well. But then I started taking a class at Harbor's gym called High Low. The first week I felt like I didn't fit in and I couldn't do it, but the instructor was so kind and thanked me for coming and told me how well I did. I was like, no, I wasn't, but it made me come back the next week and the next week. And soon enough, I was keeping up with the class. I started introducing more classes and then going Saturdays. I learned how to lift weights accurately with repetition. I started lifting on my own. I started golfing too with my husband. And all of a sudden, I was buying salads instead of sandwiches. Small victories happened week by week, and it's 100% because of Harbor, their staff, their gym, the golf. My husband is getting out of the house and working out with me. His golf game is increasing, we're lifting together, and we feel good. Harbor, where I lost my reins and got my gains.
To us, pizza the way it ought to be isn't just our slogan. It's our promise and our passion to give you the best dining experience and the best tasting pizza you expect. For over 40 years, we've been making pizza the way it ought to be. Handmade with the freshest and finest ingredients. Our dough is made fresh daily, and we use 100% whole milk mozzarella cheese and toppings edge to edge. There's pizza, and then there's Mountain Mike's Pizza. Pizza the way it ought to be.
Hi, I'm Rob Cedar, General Manager at Clown Falls Honda and Clown Falls Subaru. I've lived here my whole life. Most of our employees have lived here their whole life too. Our sales, service, parts, and body shop teams are all staffed with experienced local folks. You know them and they know you. Our dealerships are comfortable and not corporate. Comfortable means we're focused on you. I'm Rob, and I'm glad to know you.
This is where unconditional love and immeasurable happiness reside. This is home. Coltwell Banker, where home begins.
Welcome back to 104.3 and 960 Sports. We've got HD video on mybasin.com tonight. The Henley Hornets coming away with a big win against Crater on the road, 35-0. What a game for the Henley football team, both on the offense and the defensive end. They really had it all clicking tonight, Kev.
Yeah, they look very good. And, you know, it was almost, as far as preseason games go, well, not preseason, but before league play, it was almost a perfect game. It's just what you want. They were able to they played a complete game, I felt. They really did. They played from the beginning to end. They came out strong. They finished strong. But there's room for improvement. And when they go on the film, there were some penalties. There were some mistakes. So it isn't like your work is done. There's a lot of chances to go and coach these guys up. But as far as looking at week 1 and moving to week 2, just a tremendous amount of improvement and just a very well played game.
5 scores for the Hornets tonight, none for Crater. It was 3 touchdowns for Logan Whitlock tonight. We're going to talk to him here in just a minute. He scored the 2nd touchdown of the game from 15 yards out, the 4th touchdown of the game from 5 yards out, and the 5th touchdown of the game from 13 yards out. He's headed up to the booth right now, so we're going to take a break. And when we come back, we're going to catch up with Logan Whitlock, our Mountain Mike's player of the game on 104.3 and 60 Sports.
So lonely, I just sigh and moan. Seems like I've been waiting forever, wondering if you're coming home. I just saw your face, I know you're coming home. I swear there is no place home. And then I heard your voice. I know you're coming home. I know you're coming home.
This is where unconditional love and immeasurable happiness reside. This is home. Coltwell Banker, where home begins.
Welcome back to 104.3 960 Sports, HD video on mybasin.com. We're joined now by our Mountain Mike's player of the game, Logan Whitlock. Logan, what a game you guys had. Talk to me about your immediate reactions after this win.
It felt great, really. I don't know, just running that ball behind my line, I just knew it was going to be just a fun day for me, and after that win, I couldn't be nothing but smiles.
You guys seem to have a certain amount of confidence on the offensive end. You and Shaw ran the ball really well tonight. Talk to me about what you saw on the field out there.
I just saw a lot of cutback lanes and a lot of just room for me to work just because of my line, and Shaw Stork making some great pulls out there. I mean, ultimately spacing out the defense, allowing me to do anything I want, basically.
You know, it was really interesting to watch you this year coming into this season because you got hurt last year and you missed quite a bit of last season, but you come in, you look strong, you look stronger than last year. Talk to me about how you got to this point ready for this season.
As soon as I broke my collarbone, I just thought next year is my year. I mean, I don't have any seniors in front of me that are going to, take my spot. So I was like, hey, I got to put in the work. I got to get myself ready. So it was like almost every single day I was in the gym lifting, or I was at the field just doing quick feet, trying to get faster, getting my agility up. It was just a grind all summer. I had some fun every now and then, but most of it was just putting in the work.
All right, you guys got Ashland next week. You're starting conference play. You feel confident going into next week?
Oh, 100%. I feel great going into next week.
Well, I'd like to present you with the Mountain Mike's player of the game. I'll have you take control of this. $25 from Mountain Mike's Pizza. Refuel after the game at Mountain Mike's Pizza. Logan, you've earned a pizza made with 100% whole milk mozzarella and toppings piled so high that you're going to need a mountain guide to reach the top. Mountain Mike's Pizza, Washburn near Walmart Shopping Center. Mountain Mike's Pizza, pizza the way it ought to be. Logan, go join your team. Have a safe trip back, and thank you for coming up and joining us.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Logan Whitlock, our player of the game. You can go ahead and pop the headset off and go ahead and join your team. Thanks again for joining us, our player of the game. Kevin, I'll have you pop the headset back on. What an absolutely great game for not only the junior there, Logan Whitlock, but this whole offense really was humming all night long. We talked a little bit about the confidence during this game, but I mean, man, the confidence now going forward into the season has to be huge because you beat one of the top teams in the state at the next classification.
Right, that's the thing is it matters who you play. I mean, this was a good opponent at a great location on the road. So I mean, you couldn't ask for more from a road win. And I know this is a little bit of the minutia that gets into things, but this is a great win for your formula at the end of the year when you're looking at rankings and who gets to play where. To beat a team a class up on the road, that's going to add into your points for the playoffs. So just in all aspects, just a good trip for the Hornets for sure.
And if you start drawing comparisons to similar opponents, Crater beat North Bend last week 52-0, and North Bend is in our new Big Sky Conference. So you can, I mean, it's tough you're really, I think, reaching a little bit if you start to try to draw lines between how good North Bend could be in the rest of our league. But I think Henley has got to feel confident going into the rest of league play for certain, because you've got Mazama to deal with, you've got Marshfield to deal with, some really good teams. But now you can beat a good team on the road in a hostile environment. I mean, they were booed coming out of the field tonight.
They were booed.
Yeah, it was an interesting one for sure. Logan Whitlock, who was our player of the game, scored 3 touchdowns. Luke Bennett had a touchdown reception. Chris Janney had a touchdown reception. The Hornets tonight, 10 first downs. They were 3 for 5 in third down conversions. Here's the thing for the Henley defense, though. They held Crater 1 for 10 on third down conversions. That's barring the last about 3 minutes. We're talking about the varsity starters here. 1 for 10 tonight. This defense was flying around.
Well, not only is that just a great number, but when you look at a week ago, that was probably one of the weaknesses. So to just clean that up in this fashion in that amount of time, just really good coaching and really good execution by the players.
Looking ahead to next week, the Henley Hornets will be on the road once more for their 3rd straight week. Back over here in Jackson County, although taking on the Ashland Grizzlies to kick off Big Sky Conference. We'll be back on the road next week as well to join you from Ashland High School on 104.3 and 960 Sports. This about does it for us tonight. We appreciate you watching the MyBasin.com Game of the Week on 104.3 and 960 Sports. We'd like to thank some of the folks that made this broadcast possible tonight. Of course, both head coaches, Burke Brown of Crater, Alex Stork here with the Henley Hornets, and of course the Crater Athletic Director, David Hurd, for getting us set up tonight. Special thanks to Mr. Hurd for taking care of us with broadcast accommodations this evening, and also Henley Athletic Director Luke Hammond for keeping us in the loop each and every week with what's going on with his program. The final score tonight, Henley on the road with a big victory, 35-0. For Kevin Petrick, I'm Josh Eldridge saying good night from Central Point, Oregon.